coming. Appreciate it.
Yeah, glad to be here.
What was your name again?
Ann Kafer.
Ann Kafer.
Did we ever decide when we were gonna?
Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
For the sidewalks, I was thinking of waiting until after, that last little piece. And, should we cap it shortly or?
I'll get you right after we do payroll and everything. Your first item there under that. Well, you ain't kidding on these updates. Jen, did you talk to Pat today by chance?
He sent me an email a little bit ago about something else, but he didn't say it was gonna
Okay.
be on or anything.
Got 1 minute. All right, everybody, I got 6 p.m., but did our attorney pull into the parking lot yet? Give him just a minute or two.
He did send me an email, he said he's in now. All right, I'm gonna make a call to him real quick just to make sure that he's on the way or somehow. Pat had a small emergency to attend to. He is on his way. He's actually just at the corner though, but it did delay him, so. Well, everybody's okay with waiting a couple minutes more? Is everybody good with that? Okay. Chief, you should give him a police escort into town or something like that. It's okay. Let me know, are you ready to get started? Okay. All right, everybody, I think we're going to get started. I'd like to start the Oglesby City Council meeting. Roll call, please.
Baldrich. Here. Cullinan.
Here.
McDermott.
Here.
Moyle. Here. Curran.
Here, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Okay. Mayor's report. A couple regular items. First one is, I just want to thank Austin. Central State had their kind of opening ceremonies there, and I had a family obligation this weekend, so Austin stepped up to represent the city of Oglesby, and I'm told he didn't duff a pitch into the dirt, so excellent. Thank you for that. That being on the same lines, Illinois Valley Baseball Leagues, both Senior League and Junior League, they're both doing fantastic. Matter of fact, I'm told that Senior League had an extremely late night last night, defeating like a four-time champion that has given us problems in the past. Their next game is tomorrow at 2 p.m. And Junior League, believe it or not, is still going as well, and they are playing right now. So if you happen to be watching this at home and you're in Oglesby, I would recommend, you can always watch this later. I'd go down and check out the field at Oglesby and support our boys. So the other two things, I kind of want to just make a brief mention. I've already talked about it publicly, but it wasn't in an official capacity. IVRD, for those that might have picked up what the news was talking about, Illinois Valley Regional Dispatch, there was this whole thing with Mendota's possibly considering leaving IVRD. There was a discussion in front of the county board. I want to thank John Duncan for speaking on behalf of IVRD. I think he did a great job. Some of the things he talked about, one of the things I had a conversation with Sheriff Diss was he actually offered Oglesby a similar deal. We didn't get as far as talking about numbers or anything, but he offered to be able to absorb Oglesby in those services as well. So I am extremely appreciative of Sheriff Diss to be able to do that. I think it opens up a bigger conversation that we talked about at the county board. That, I mean, we went from 9 PSAP centers down to 3, and all these communities are saving an incredible amount of money. Maybe there's something more that can be further consolidation. I don't know if we'll ever get down to one, but maybe it's two, or maybe there's a primary and a secondary. If there's more ways to make more savings, I think it's a worthwhile cause. So I look forward to engaging in those discussions. The last thing that happened at the thing there was the solar field next to the radio station came up as a topic. It did lose, I should say it got voted down. But I will say, without going into too many details, the main reason it passed at the zoning board is because a lot of the zoning board people realize that if it meets the state's requirements, the state's going to approve it regardless. So I know that probably a lot of the board members were voting off of, because they know the constituents weren't necessarily happy about it. So I don't know how, I'm just saying I don't think that one's probably a done deal yet. We as the city, we kind of remain neutral on it. We know we don't have a dog in the fight, but just want to make everybody aware. So that being said, before we move on tonight's agenda, I want to set the stage for a couple discussions we're going to have. Tonight is probably going to be uncomfortable. I don't particularly enjoy having these conversations, but there are times when avoiding them only makes underlying problems worse, and they have been avoided for far too long. I wish we could do it all tonight and talk about some other major roadblocks that have come up with economic development. But unfortunately, one simply isn't ready yet. So that will be a large revelation at a future meeting, of which I'm hoping will be very, very soon. My responsibility isn't simply to preside over meetings, it's to make sure the public understands where the city stands, what challenges we're facing, and what decisions need to be made to keep the city government functioning. Tonight, you'll hear about staffing shortages, delayed services, and operational challenges that affect residents, services, businesses, and future development. I want to be clear about something. The focus of these discussions need to be about restoring the city's ability to serve the people who elected all of us. It may appear to be personal just because of the differences on opinion, but I can guarantee you, at least from my perspective, it will be about trying to get city services restored and functioning again by bringing these details into the public space. I myself am not immune to the frustration of dealing with the differences of opinion. In fact, this is why I typed this out ahead of time, because the topic has gone on for so long. When I thought about what I'd say tonight, frequently swear words would come to my mind, and I really need to avoid that. I do have great fear that at some point I'll likely lose that composure, but for tonight, I'm going to stick with what I wrote to get my points out. So tonight, I'm going to rely on documentation, timelines, actions taken, and facts. Residents deserve transparency, and they deserve to understand not only what decisions are being made, but also the consequences when essential positions remain vacant through inaction. Every member of this council has the authority to agree or disagree with a recommendation. That is how representative government works. But every one of us also took the same oath of office. None of us took an oath to agree with each other. None of us took an oath to support every recommendation. We took an oath to faithfully perform the duties of the offices we were elected to serve. To me, faithfully performing those duties means that if one solution isn't acceptable, then we have a responsibility to work together to find another. My hope is that tonight we focus less on what we disagree about and more how we can move the city forward. That's all I have. Okay, next item is number 5, public comment on agenda items only. Please.
Interesting that I'm going to walk right into what you just said. Good evening, I'm Kathy Noblock. Is this on? Can you hear me?
Is it pulled forward to you? There's a little button.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
You got it.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is an issue I care about, I'm going to read my prepared comments and questions so I can remain focused, respectful, and clear.
Thank you.
I'm here tonight regarding the zoning administrator position. Earlier this year, back in January, February, this committee discussed the importance of filling this position, identified it as a priority. 6 months later, you finally went out for applications. You received what appears to be a very qualified candidate. In fact, the city has leaned on this individual for guidance and his expertise for the last 3 years. Zoning isn't about creating unnecessary regulations. It's about protecting property values, encouraging responsible development, attracting new businesses, and ensuring our community continues to grow in a thoughtful and orderly way. Without zoning, the quality and the appearance of our city can decline over time. At the last meeting, and many other meetings, and one tonight, the word transparency was mentioned many times. Transparency isn't just talking about it. It's being willing to explain your decisions to the people you represent. That's why I'm here tonight. I believe the residents of Oglesby deserve to understand the reasoning behind decisions involved in positions that the city itself identified as a priority. For those who voted against hiring the candidate, could you please explain your reasoning? But before we go there, I want to point out, strong leadership means surrounding yourself with qualified professionals who know their jobs and can help the city succeed. Hiring capable people doesn't diminish your elected positions. It strengthens your organization and reflects well on leadership making those decisions. With that said, I want to ask each one of you why, and explain to me why you voted no to hire this individual. And I'm going to start with you, Greg, because that is basically your department.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
you
Just so
work
you're
with a
aware,
lot of it.
just so you're aware, it is public comment, not
Well,
public
that's
Q&A.
okay.
So if they want to
I like
respond, they
that.
can, but nobody's required, so just so
Okay.
you're aware.
Okay, would you like to respond?
If I may, yes. My reasoning was because the ordinance for the administrator, the zoning administrator, needs to be clarified and in detail what the job pertains to, which it is not. And
Okay,
even today, that's not been done. The questions I've asked, the statements I've made, have received zero.
and who are these
compliments.
questions not to?
Huh?
Who are you referring to? The city council itself, the ordinance?
The
laws,
ordinance is,
bylaws?
the ordinance is what I was pertaining to. I asked for certain clarification, never got it. I asked for certain things to be put in, never got anything back.
Okay,
And that's the truth, ma'am.
okay. Rich, is there a
Thank
reason
you.
why you voted no?
I have no comment at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hillary?
I feel like we need to really watch how many people we're hiring in the city in all aspects. We have a lot of infrastructure concerns, our streets. If we would have been responsible, maybe in the past, we would have had more money for the wastewater treatment plant.
But do you realize that zoning also, if you don't have any kind of zoning. in
I
this-
believe we have people capable to do the job that already are on the staff.
Okay, that's your answer. Austin?
Well, I voted in favor of Jim, so, the one thing that I will note, though, is, this council back in 2025, did vote specifically on the language of the zoning administrator ordinance that exists now that Commissioner McDermott takes exception to. I guess my question would be, Commissioner McDermott, did you vote no on that, or did you vote yes on that? And if you voted yes on it, why did you vote yes on it if you have such a problem with the wording?
This is
Yes.
public comment,
I
and
would-
I think I answered
I think
my
it's a fair
question to
question.
her.
Yep, let's
But
save that
I'll
for
answer
the-
that later if you'd like.
Yep, we'll we'll
Definitely.
save that for the
Save it
discussion
later.
item.
Okay,
Perfect.
well, my final comment is that it's disappointing to say this, but from what residents have witnessed at these meetings, it often appears that personal disagreements and politics are getting in the way moving Oglesby forward. The people of Oglesby elected you to work together. We need leaders who are willing to put the city's best interests ahead of personal differences and focus on growth, progress, and making Oglesby a better place to live and do business.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Are there any other public comments on agenda items only? Seeing that there's none, we'll move on. Number 6, approval of minutes from the, I think there was a minor error here, approval of minutes from the July 6, 2026 regular meeting. If there's no additions or corrections, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I will motion that we approve the minutes from the July 6, 2026 regular meeting.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Number 7, approve bills presented for payment in the amount of $664,771.02. If there's no additions, corrections, or modifications to the bills, can I get a motion to pay the bills?
I will motion we approve bills presented for payment in the amount of $664,771.02.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Number 8, approve payroll for $86,886.10. If there's no additions, corrections, or modifications to the payroll, can I get a motion for payment?
I will motion that we approve payroll in the amount of $86,886.10.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Number 9, old business. A, Hope Week report.
Curran. I believe we have Ann Kafer here. Thank you much for everything that you guys do, and she wanted to come and kind of give us a report on all the wonderful things, so please.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. I pass around a printed report. Hope Week has been going on for 11 years, not only in LaSalle County, but now into Bureau and Putnam counties. And it is a group of Christians from multiple churches, including the one next door, who come together every year and do improvement projects within communities. And Oglesby has been a cornerstone community for us. My husband and I moved to this area 3 years ago. We are just west of town. We have a Peru address, but I identify as an Oglesbyanian. So we love the town of Oglesby, and so it's my personal pleasure to be involved with your Parks District folks and working through what we can do to help improve the quality of the community, largely through improvement projects in the parks. This year, Hope Week was the first full week of June, and if you recall the first full week of June, it was not a lot of fun. It rained every day, and we were in Oglesby on June 10th and had a major storm roll in that evening. So we did accomplish the painting of 16 picnic tables from a variety of different park facilities, but we were unable to get back to McFedrin Park, which we've done in the past. We were going to do the dock out there, but we had to postpone that. So that'll be on our list for next year. But one of the things that I wanted to say is just a big thank you to the town, the city. The city has been very supportive of our efforts and willing to work with us as we're wanting to just cooperate and make the communities better, make the Illinois Valley a place that people not only want to come to, but they want to live and raise their families. We believe it all makes a difference. And so I would also say that while we have McFedrin on the docket for next year to go back to, I would challenge you to think about any other improvement projects that might be of interest to you. We can muster up to 100 people on an evening or a morning for a physical labor project that could be anything from painting to landscaping. We also have a variety of folks that are very skilled laborers. And so if there's something that's coming down the path that you might know of, we would love to start having that conversation early. Hope Week in 2027 will be June 6th through 12th, and we are targeting that first day, the 6th, which is a Sunday, to really do our big projects both in LaSalle, Peru, and Oglesby. We consider that the cornerstone of what we're working on. So if there's something that might be coming down the path that we can help with, we're here to do it. So thank you.
And I can't thank you enough. I do have one thing I just want to ask. So I did not participate this year, but last year I was
I
there.
remember
and-
last year.
And Cameron wanted to point out something. He said Oglesby is really known for the amount of staples we like to put into our
You're
picnic
like
tables. And he was not
the
kidding.
number of staples
Is-
that we find in any other. in the
Has that
picnic
gotten any
tables.
better? We will struggle to see if we can improve that, because we do appreciate the work
Well,
and the
so
help.
as you know firsthand, when we paint picnic tables, it doesn't just mean slap on a coat of paint.
Yeah.
It means pull all those staples, sand them down, and do it right. So,
It's
but
crazy.
we're thrilled to do that. But again, anything else that might be coming down the path, we would love to engage with you on going forward.
Thank you so much. It's
Well,
such a
thank you.
wonderful program to then get people engaged throughout the community and the region. I think it's fantastic.
It was 5,400 hours of service that was put in 7 days, all volunteer labor.
It's fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Ma'am, will you spell your last name for me?
Anybody else have any other comments on anything?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, B, discussion and possible action on FY 2027B appropriation ordinance number 1314-072026, Cullinan.
Okay, so there's two appropriations things listed in front of you. There's an actual copy of the ordinance itself with the accompanying addendum, and then there's the actual worksheet that lists all of the revenues and all of the expenditures. So I believe that there were some requests for modifications to the appropriation amounts at the last meeting. Jen, to my knowledge, has included those in this appropriations. And so that's reflected in there. This is not the exact same thing as you would have in your drive. The appropriated amounts for fiscal year 27 are, but there were just a few formatting things that Jen and I today worked up on cleaning up with last year's fiscal year amounts, which aren't listed in the actual appropriations ordinance, but I'm talking about the worksheet here. We cleaned up a few things there. We cleaned up a few things on the cover page, and so those numbers might look different there, but you do have the appropriations in front of you. With the appropriations, I guess there's some I was looking through here and there's some revenues in here, but you said that we don't have to list the revenues in here, we just have to list the appropriated amounts.
No, revenue should all be in there too,
I don't
but
think all the revenues are in.
no,
Correct, you don't have to list
Okay,
it.
yeah, okay. Yeah, so, okay, yeah, the expenditures are all in here, so, the only thing, that I did, before the meeting, I got a text message from Becky. I did have Becky review it, and she did say something to the effect of the transfers. Every transfer that we're making, you have to list the transfer, the account it's going out of as an expenditure. But she advised us not to list the transfer in as revenue. And so the transfers in are listed as revenue, and so I don't know if that's a legal thing or an accounting thing or whatever, but I mean, if, you know, I guess that's something I suppose could be.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's an accounting thing, honestly,
Yeah.
because it's already revenue. It's
Yeah.
just in a different fund.
Yeah.
Right,
So
yeah.
by listing it as revenue coming into the other fund, you're really duplicating the revenue.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so, I mean, I suppose we could probably make a motion to accept it with a condition that be separated.
You could.
Okay.
I only saw one, I think, when I looked through this quickly.
There's a few.
Are there more than
Yeah.
one?
So,
Transfer sewer.
it would be, so debt service has a transfer of $170,000 coming in from the electric department. Let's see, what else we got? Sewer has a transfer in of $600,000. I think there might have been one or two more. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I would suggest you, and are they not listed in the appropriation ordinance, Austin?
No, well, so if they're listed as an expenditure, they'd be listed in the appropriations ordinance, but I don't believe all the revenues are included in here.
We're only focusing on expenditures in the appropriation ordinance.
Yeah.
You could make a motion to approve the appropriation ordinance with the deletion of any incoming fund transfers in the revenue stream.
Okay.
So that they're not duplicated.
Just divorce them, yeah, okay. Yeah, that was the big thing that she had noted was a concern of mine. And then also just on the, this is just, again, one of the things that we ended up fixing today on the sheet itself. On the front page of the appropriations ordinance, the appropriations summary, it says $8.5 million to the wastewater treatment plant. It's actually $7.5 million, so I think we didn't update this here.
Yeah,
and so I
your
think that's the
sheet, yeah.
issue. So those would be the two things, the two modifications that I would ask to make on it. Otherwise, I think we're fine.
Okay, go around the room, see if you have any comments, Hillary?
Everything in my department, I worked closely with Jen to get updated, and everything looks right to me and for my departments.
Okay. Mac?
Well, I would suggest before we approve something that we update it and get everything kosher before we actually approve it, because so many times we approve something and never does get updated or back.
The only comment I would have to that, Mac, is this has to be approved by the end of this month. So if you don't approve it at tonight's meeting, you're gonna have to have a special meeting between now and the end of the month to approve it with the changes. Austin's pointed out one change on the first page to reduce the wastewater treatment plant fund appropriation from 8.5 to 7.5.
Yes.
Correct.
The fund breakdown has it as 7.5, so just to match that.
It's just the cover sheet that has the wrong
Yeah.
change on it.
Okay.
Anything else specific, Austin, that?
Those would be the two concerns that I would have.
Rich, do you have anything?
I'd just like to point out, section 2 shall not be construed as a commitment, agreement, obligation, or liability to the city of Elizabeth. Such appropriation being subject to further approval as to expenditure thereof by the city council. Just wanted to throw that on the record there.
What section are you talking about?
Section 2.
Section 2. And that's
Second page,
absolutely
second
true,
two.
Rich. This is an outline for possible expenditures,
Mhm.
but the council has to approve them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, the only comments I have on it, obviously the numbers look significantly larger because we have wastewater treatment things being in here, which is, kind of throws things off. It makes us look way larger than we really are. I do want to appreciate the updates that we got in there with Summer Fun Fest. I know that's been an area of contention and discussion for the city. So granted, I do think that there's probably more work that can be done in that area, breaking them out even to even more events. But I think at least getting the Fun Fest one in there, that was the big concern. I think this is a great starting point, and you know, Fun Fest is doing well for the last 30 years in the city. This is the first time we've actually ever put it into the appropriations ordinance specifically. So I think it's a great thing going forward. Okay, I guess open discussion. Is there anything else you wanted to need to make a modification for anything?
Those are the two concerns I would have.
So
I
was gonna say, Pat, just to kind of pay respect to what McDermott has concerns about, do you have any concerns about us making an approval with those changes on hand, or do you believe this warrants anything with a special meeting?
No, I think
Okay.
you can, particularly since they're so simple, I think you can go ahead and make a motion to approve the appropriation ordinance, Austin, with those two changes specifically mentioned. And Jen, they'll have to be changed before we submit it to the clerk. Okay?
Okay. All right, want to make sure I ask that question. Does anybody have anything out open?
The only other suggestion was that we just list the change in balance on each of the accounts which were on last year's, but I don't know if that's a strictly necessary thing for us to do.
You wanted to list the,
Change in balance, from, she said.
we're talking about how the information's presented, not the actual.
No, change in net position was what the other suggestion, but I don't know if that's a strictly necessary thing
It is
either.
not necessary.
Yeah,
Okay.
Might be handy, but it's
Yeah.
not necessary.
so I think those two things I'd be,
Well, we've talked about in the past that, you know, having a working budget that we go off of, so that way everybody, just like what Rich says, you know, even though what we're appropriated for, that doesn't mean what we're gonna spend
Of course.
necessarily. I think those are all important things, but for today, I think it's about finding out what we legally are required to not miss any steps, dot our Ts, cross our Is, all that kind of stuff like that. I say dot Ts and cross Is.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Anybody have anything else to add?
There's a thing in here for building maintenance contractual services for $30,000.
Which one, Rich?
for,
Last one,
Fire, page.
Under fire?
3, I'm thinking, guys.
I've got page numbers on my version, unless you're talking in the actual ordinance.
the third page.
Yeah, it's the, mine, that's about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages in under fire.
I think it's also in administration too. Is that just like,
Yeah, it seems it's-
for example, if we have a plumbing issue, we call John's?
Exactly.
Yeah.
To cover those possible expenditures.
What did we have appropriated in what we actually spent last year?
$5,000.
I'm surprised I didn't flag that one then. I looked for things that were,
Oh, I see
big
what you're
spikes.
saying. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we spent? or
We
what
spent a
actually
little
appro-
over $5,000.
What did we
We
appro-
appropriated 5,000, we spent $5,079.
And we appropriated 30.
We appropriated 30 for this
Okay.
year, but
That's-
again, I don't know why that number was appropriated, but
Well-
you don't have to spend it, so.
Was
Right.
something moved from another one? I know that as long as the bottom line doesn't
I
necessarily
believe
change.
Steve wrote things down on the worksheet that there would be some improvements that need to be made to the outdoor,
That he's
um,
anticipating.
yeah, metal
Okay.
for
The
the,
whole point of this, Hillary.
yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. That's
Yeah.
probably why it's higher.
I think
Yeah.
that's absolutely reasonable.
Okay, that's a good
There
question.
had to be some reason to jump from 5 to 30.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm glad we got that question answered then. Any other things like that? Any other concerns that need to be addressed, or if not, if somebody wants to make the motion with whatever modifications?
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number 1314-072026, an appropriation ordinance for the city of Oglesby for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2026 and ending April 30th, 2027, contingent on a separation of transfer ins from revenue and also modifying the wastewater treatment plant item on the summary page to $7.5 million.
I'll second that.
I was gonna say, as long as I don't have to say all that.
I don't want to interrupt him while he's writing it out. I would never have the memory.
Hey, good thing it's recorded.
Yeah, I would never. You couldn't read a 20-word sentence to me and then me try to write that down after. I don't think I've ever seen you write one that long before. Any concerns with that? Does that seem clean enough? Okay, perfect. We need a roll call, please?
Baldridge,
Aye.
Cullinan,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Moyle,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. C, discussion and possible action on zoning administrator, current. Okay, I can tell that this might be a contentious topic, so I'll just remind everybody, let's try to be as respectful as we can. So, I'll start off. I need to explain why this item is before us tonight and how we got here. For those that don't know, we've operated without a permanent zoning administrator for approximately 10 months. During that time, we've been fortunate. Jim Kleinard generously shared his professional expertise to help us through the transition. Patty Eichelkraut and Aaron Quick, part of our staff here, also took on responsibilities that were never intended to become permanent parts of their jobs. But with Jim's assistance and the building inspector kind of expanding his role, they've been able to kind of limp along the last 10 months. I'd like to publicly thank all of them. Their willingness to step up allowed city business to continue. We have been talking about this zoning administrator thing for months now, and at the last meeting, it came to a head. Unfortunately, the audio wasn't working after closed session, so most of the public isn't aware of what transpired. So I will elaborate on what got us there and what occurred. In our discussions the past few months on zoning administrator, we looked at several options and 2 people that could perform the duties. The council didn't like the cost of one of the options, which I concurred was a concern compared to our costs in the past. The other option was the one I thought we should have taken all along. The individual I nominated helped draft our land development code, previously served the city in a professional engineering capacity for decades, was willing to assist at a rate significantly below his normal professional billing rate, and quite frankly, there is no one else on the planet that has more knowledge about our zoning, land development, and building codes. I think everyone would agree that this is one heck of a good fiscally responsible option for such a skill set to have access to. However, the council majority rejected that option. The next option I put forth is that we could advertise for the position out in the open with a salary or rate of pay that we need to determine right now. The option was rejected by the majority as well. I then asked, okay, well, if neither of those options are acceptable, I need a recommendation of another option as we can't leave this position vacant continuously. There was no further suggestions, comments, or questions. It'll be important to get back to in a minute. We then came out into open session, and I made the nomination for the position as required by our ordinances for Jim Kleinard to be our next zoning administrator. The vote was 3-2, with the majority voting it down. I will say 2 things. 1, that is their absolute right to vote that way. And 2, Commissioner McDermott took a very long time to cast his vote, as if perhaps he was thinking about it deeply before casting the vote. It was only after the meeting concluded that we realized no audio was broadcast. Our apologies. Next day fallout. Jim stated that he was no longer going to be doing favors of helping resolve our zoning issues. I cannot blame him. This then triggered our clerk's office to recognize that without the assistance, it simply won't be possible for them to continue working these many items, which I'll get into in a minute. I'll attach the emails from both of our assistant clerks, which will clearly point out how zoning administration simply takes so much time. Could you put that up there if you get a chance, please, sir? I'll attach the emails from both of our assistant clerks, which clearly point out our zoning administration simply takes so much time of the day. For those that can't see it, I won't read off everything, just a few highlights. But first, so you have an idea of what has ground to a halt right now. Hopefully, what button did we hit to do that? I don't even know. Does this work?
For that to work, it'd have to be like, I think, plugged in. I'm honestly not entirely sure
Oh, so you're not
how
sure
that
if
button
that works?
No, you just push it.
I did.
Add, push it again. Because
Why couldn't I have gotten this like 3 meetings ago when I asked?
Well, that would have been great.
We asked for
Well,
specific
you'll have an opportunity
lists.
to talk about that, because we did talk about this, but we'll get into that in a minute.
Okay, so, oh crap, people can't read it. So just a couple things. What do we got going on here? So economic development, we have a KEI training center project. There's a proposed restaurant at the former Two Brothers, two downtown building improvement grant applications, one for a new business, one for an expanding business, the new liquor store, which is working through some issues, other economic opportunities that we can hopefully talk about very soon. Residents, we have numerous building permits going on right now. There's probably more than a dozen plus. There is 2 short-term rental applications out there. There's property subdivision requests, I believe 3 of them, and numerous zoning interpretation requests that the zoning administrator usually handles. Every item on the screen is a function of the zoning administrator. So, these are not hypothetical situations. These are residents trying to improve their property. These are businesses looking to invest in Oglesby. These are development projects that contribute to our tax base and strengthen our community. Every one of these items requires zoning administration before it can move forward. Why action is needed. So I'm gonna, could you go to the next one, please? So this is the email that, that Patty sent after she realized she just cannot do it anymore. I won't read the whole thing. I was hoping that people would be able to see it. That's unfortunate. So I'll just read a snippet. I cannot dedicate my focus on zoning administration matters without neglecting my primary job duties. Next slide. And the next day, Aaron Quick sent a very similar email. I'll summarize. I was willing to help bridge the gap between administrators, but because it seems as though this job is not important enough to fill, I cannot continue to push my other job duties off and dig myself into a deeper hole by putting things to the side. Okay. I then sent out emails to the council clarifying that this problem cannot go unanswered. And I asked the council members who didn't have a counter suggestion to offer me a viable one by the end of the week. The first email went unanswered. The second email, I reemphasized the concern and added extra info about a maintenance person, of which we will get into a little later tonight. The second email did receive a response. Rather than characterize that response myself, I'd rather simply read the relevant portion and then show you the emails and its wording. I think it's important that everyone have the opportunity to judge it based on the actual words rather than my opinion. If you could put the next one up. This is what Hillary sent out as a response. It says this: remove me from this thread. I am setting a boundary, and I do not know where you think you can order me to do anything, nor do I know where you get permission to speak to me in this way. So, I thought it would be important to show my actual emails that I sent. And I'll even read, I know it's long, but I read it because I didn't want someone to think that I was trying to take out any negative language I might have had. So I'll read that highlight. The majority did not like my solution, which is your right. But when asked about an alternate solution I had, there was no interest in that either. Also, none were offered back. That is not acceptable. I find it completely unacceptable to not select the viable, cost-effective solution that was presented, but have zero other plan to execute, or at least offer it when the absolute need for the prosperity of the city. So, I task each of you to come up with, you three to come up with a solution that is viable that you would entertain in pursuing. I am willing to accept alternative methods, but having processes grind to a halt in the city that further develops Oglesby is unacceptable. Also, sticking your head in the sand is unacceptable. This will be the highest level of open discussion at our next council meeting if I don't hear an offered suggestion. Please make some time and offer me a solution you would be willing to entertain by the end of the week. Actually, scratch out the please. This has gone too long. The Connecting Point fiasco last night was an embarrassment and a travesty. Jim is no longer willing to do favors for the clerk's office, of which that has limped us along for a while now to get things done. There are residents that have requests that require a zoning administrator via processes in our land development code. And those residents are going to be hurting if they can't get expectations met. I remind you that you have an obligation to them to resolve these kinds of things as an elected official. So the strongest words I had there is when I said probably scratch out the please. Next one, please. This is a second one I filled out because I found out there was something with the maintenance one as well. I won't go into that detail, but this should be the highest priority for the council, outside of whatever departmental duties you are doing, of course. But as our council duties, it is a pressing need to be resolved. I don't have a good answer to give her. This is in referring to Erin asking what she's supposed to do with these things to process, because I simply could not get a majority to decide on the first suggested option, the second suggested option, or even offer a third option. There are an incredible number of things happening in the city that are piling up, in addition to all the residential building permits. then a little bit later. So, same as before, if you have a suggested means to resolve these situations, please send them to me by the end of the week. Otherwise, we are going to have to discuss all these items in the public to get a resolution on them. I will no longer stand by and allow city services to continue to deteriorate due to lack of council action because I know it's not for lack of people making the attempt. So, where'd I put my stuff at? Okay, so I'm not gonna try to put words in people's mouths. You can read what they said. Believe me, I have to read from a script because otherwise my background, my military background, will get too angry and say some crazy stuff. So I'll just simply make these three observations. First, commissioners are independently elected officials and they absolutely make their own decision. Nothing in my emails directed anyone how to vote or what position to take. Second, asking elected officials to help identify a workable solution after a proposal has been rejected is not in order. I believe it's a reasonable expectation of any governing body. And I would challenge any council in America for a mayor not to engage this council that way. Third, as an elected official, you have no right to demand how people speak to you. I'd encourage everyone to compare the email I sent with the response that was received. I don't think it was disrespectful in any way. They just didn't want to hear it. I'll let each person decide for themselves whether that request was unreasonable and what they think is really going on with a response like that, claiming that they were spoken to poorly. Also, last thing I will say, and perhaps this can be a good thing, that we can get a resolution tonight. After the blowback from all of this, I was told Commissioner McDermott was approached about not voting to appoint Jim Kleinert. Now, because I don't know if he said this or not, and it's only secondhand, I can't really say that somebody's fibbing. But I had heard this response was that he didn't vote no, he just didn't vote yes because he had some unanswered questions. As I stated earlier, there was no outstanding questions on anything. There was no other recommendations or further actions even put forth. And three, when I heard this, I had reached out to Commissioner McDermott twice to see if I could follow up on anything that he may have had question or concern on. I have not received that return call yet. Granted, you did say something to me. In all fairness, I typed this before.
Yeah.
You said something to me right before the meeting today.
I also
So,
sent you
hold
an
on.
email.
So as I said earlier,
When you
maybe
make a
this is-
statement like that, you need to let the person
you
reply.
will have your opportunity.
I better have it.
Great.
You've been talking for
Great.
how long?
So I said earlier, maybe this is a good thing, and he had some questions if he is still seeking answers on. And since 2 weeks have gone by, maybe he has answered those questions by now and is ready to actually cast a vote, especially since no one had a chance to hear the last meeting. And I'd be happy to put the nomination again. Lastly, and this is what he was talking about, I have seen some correspondence that they believe a few items should be modified in the zoning administrator ordinance that limits the person's authority to enter properties and on other things. I will say, I have absolutely no problem revisiting that conversation if there is a way that we can adjust that going forward. In fact, I think that is a good topic for a future working meeting. But we simply can't leave the position vacant in the meantime. My 2 cents, fill it now, keep city services moving, modify any existing problems with it going forward. That is all I have. Austin, we'll move.
Then it won't get done.
Yeah,
problem.
so, I also
question.
believe, that the candidate that was nominated at the last meeting, Jim Kleinert, is overqualified for the position and would be a major asset to the city, and I thank Jim for the work that he's done in an unofficial capacity to this point. And frankly, I don't blame him if, with the vote going the way that it did, if he no longer wants to assist us, but it does put us in a very kind of precarious situation. I will put up on the screen for everybody the language of the zoning administrator ordinance, which I want to note was voted on by this council, which I was not yet a member. It was actually, I think, the meeting that the council voted to add me to the council. So it's, I was not yet a member, but everybody else up here was. And so here is a just job description, or I guess it's the ordinance that lays out the zoning administrator's job. So it says designation, the zoning administrator shall be designated by the mayor subject to approval of the city council. B, powers and duties. The zoning administrator shall have the following powers and duties. 1, to have the initial responsibility and authority for the interpretation and enforcement of the city's land development code and all other applicable ordinances, regulations, and codes. For those of you that are not familiar, I encourage you to go online, type in Oglesby Municode, and go search through our land development ordinance. Our land development ordinances. They are extensive, okay? And they're not necessarily very easy to understand as kind of an amateur, okay? To basically, what we're doing by leaving the position empty is we're effectively pushing off that responsibility to the people who work in the office. And, you know, they do a very good job with what they do, but that is asking way too much of them. That is not a simple thing to read. It's not a simple thing to just know off the top of your head, which is why they put in so many calls to Jim. 2, to enter and inspect any premises as needed in the performance of these duties. So this was one of the issues that Commissioner McDermott has voiced some concern about with the ordinance. However, there is a point that I'd like to make here, which is if you go back to the minutes for the meeting where this ordinance was approved, a motion was made by Stefanelli, seconded by McDermott, to approve ordinance number 1280-021825, which adds the position as zoning administrator to Chapter 2 of the Municipal Code. Stefanelli said this was the final cleanup item for the city's building department, leaving his successor with a clean slate. Ha 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 ha. Ayes, Baldridge, Moyle, McDermott, Stefanelli, Curran. So what I will do, I don't yield. I'm not done, but I will yield to Commissioner McDermott. My question for Commissioner McDermott is, Commissioner McDermott, if you have a problem with this, why do you vote for it in the first place?
Once again, Austin, we were explained that any modifications would be done at a later date after it was approved. There you go. You understand what I'm just saying? And it never was done.
Regarding this ordinance that you voted on?
Yeah.
I don't think, when you vote
No,
on
I
an
don't
ordinance,
think-
the language is final.
That's
Unless
right.
there's a,
And
unless
just
there's
right-
a
just-
contingent
just
thing
a
like
little
there was with
bit
the
before-
One at a
appropriations.
time, one at a time.
Oh, I
please.
like it. He's not
One
letting
at
me
a time.
talk, so I'll tell you what, you go ahead.
No, you can finish.
No,
Fine.
you
I
finish.
did want to yield this time. You want to?
I yield
you
back.
did, no, you did yield.
I
But
yield
now
back my
you
time.
go ahead, because you interrupted, go ahead.
Okay.
Apparently,
that's,
once again-
that's my question.
Please, one at a time.
Okay, so there's been a number of instances since I've been on the city council where, and this is one of the reasons why people probably think we get nothing done, which is actually kind of true. It's because we keep reopening old issues, and we voted on the same ordinances since I've been on the council. There's
don't.
probably 5 or so ordinances that we voted on multiple times to change, and it doesn't make any sense. If you don't like it, don't vote to approve it. And so, especially if it's going to cause issues down the road. 3, going back to the zoning administrator position, to attend all meetings of the Plan Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals if requested for the purpose of providing technical assistance when requested by the Commissioner Board. Again, the people in City Hall do a very good job at what they do, clerical duties, but do they have the technical expertise necessary to provide guidance to the Plan Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals? No. 4, to review and issue building permits, sign permits and letters of occupancy. This is actually something, as far as the actual processing of paperwork, that at least Patty, I don't remember if it was in Aaron's email, but they said that, you know, they will still process stuff, but as far as actually doing the research and stuff like that, it's not happening, and I totally agree with that. Number 5, to hear and decide applications for interpretation of the use classifications, land development regulations of the Land Development Code, and zoning district boundaries. Again, interpretation of use classifications, land development regulations, and zoning district boundaries. Again, not necessarily something that I think, you know, people who are largely doing clerical duties would be, you know, super skilled at. And the last thing here, to serve as a member of and call meetings of the Development Review Committee as needed. Well, we're missing, I guess, a member of the Development Review Committee in that case. And so I don't understand the issue with appointing somebody to the position of zoning administrator, especially when everybody on this council, minus myself, everybody on this council voted to codify the position in city ordinance. And frankly, even if you have some issues with the verbiage of the ordinance, anybody on this city council, and this is something that this is a change that was made. Anybody on the city council can direct the city attorney to they can put something on the, they can't direct the attorney, but they can put something on the agenda.
Can ask questions
Yes.
to direct.
Ask questions to direct the city attorney to draft an ordinance to change the ordinances. So if Commissioner McDermott has such a problem with this, at any point, he could have placed an item on the agenda to modify this language. So there's just really, from what I see, and I will give some credit to Commissioner Moyle here. She did tell me that when we talked the other day about this issue and others, that there were some other people who, I don't know if they approached you or you approached them, who might be interested in the position. And that's fine. Like, I would love to hear their names. But the position at the end of the day needs to be filled. It is completely unacceptable. It is pure obstruction to leave this position unfilled, especially if you care, well, I mean, I would say if you care about economic development, but I would ultimately say if you care about having a functioning city, it is unacceptable to leave this position unfilled. So now I will say I am done and
Okay.
pass it to Commissioner Moyle.
So, do you want me to go to your, I don't know if you want me to jump over, because I know, Mac, you wanted to.
I'd like to use my
Please
time.
go
No,
ahead.
please, go in order.
Like I said,
Do it
well,
right.
first of all, to say that I was uncooperative in providing solutions, I'm the one that provided the other solution to your candidate that you had selected. That was me, because I researched what other towns are doing. So it was very insulting to say that I haven't done anything. I've had 2 people approach me. I encouraged them to reach out to you or write a letter of intent to do. I don't know if they did, because you're the person that makes this appointment. It is your responsibility to bring the name up, not mine. And lastly, this continues to happen, and you threaten in an email all the time. I really dislike this leadership style that you have, where you use it to try and shame us publicly because you didn't like the outcome of a vote. It's not fair.
I think that's accurate, but that's okay. We'll let-
I'm sure
I'll-
there's more. I'm sure we're
Sure,
going to continue
absolutely.
to discuss, but that
Okay,
was my
thank you.
initial.
Mac, go ahead, please.
Am I allowed to talk now?
It's your time.
I'm asking.
It's your
Is it
time.
okay with you, Kurt?
It's your time, sir.
Austin, is
Mac,
it
go
okay with
ahead.
you?
I would love it.
Oh, you would? Well, just so you're aware, when we vote on things and we get told that amendments will be applied and they're not, that's what happens. And everybody knew before even Jim's name was brought up. Why? You all knew it. And it was discussed in executive session, which brings up a question. We're not supposed to bring up things that are brought up in executive sessions now, are we? I just feel that it needs to be clarified first, and then we get the person. And don't think that I voted against the person. It was the zoning administration ordinance, and I'm sure everybody
voted
on
yes
this
on previous.
table is aware of that. Thanks a lot, Austin. Go ahead, speak again. Go ahead.
Come on.
You got all control of this whole board, don't you? Apparently not.
I wish.
Yeah. I'm glad you don't.
Mac, do you have anything else?
I'm done, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Rich?
As Commissioner Moyle stated, I believe it was your duty to bring more names, not tasking us with that. You claimed, again falsely, that nobody gave you any other names. Commissioner Moyle did reference the one that she gave to you, and I also said Brandy Day, to which you had not accepted. Didn't even hear it, even though you made the face up above. That's true.
Okay, all right, couple things I took notes on. So taking names, I don't, that was never the issue. I don't know anything about taking names. I will say, there was one more response, I didn't mention it, because it didn't make sense. Commissioner Baldridge did do a response on one of the emails where all it said was, Brandy Day, in all caps. But it was also the same email where I asked about the maintenance person. So I'm looking at this going, well, I know she is painting for a thing. Is he talking about for maintenance? I don't understand what, which made no sense because I'm like, this is what he controls.
Rich,
He'd
your
be able
mic
to
is
appoint
off.
that person,
Shouldn't be so bad.
right? So that didn't make sense. But then I'm thinking, was he referring, because there was no discussion, was it referring to,
I told
make
you
a,
that really
hold on,
quick.
this is where I'm talking.
I told you you're
You
lying.
have an opportunity. I'm not lying.
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
not lying.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
You're not
So
telling
when you
the
said
whole
Brandy
truth.
Day, I kind of wanted, because believe me, you didn't mention that name as a person to be, but I kind of wanted to say, can anybody give me what? And again, might be a great person, but can anybody give me one, normally you'd say, give me 3 items that make this person better, but give me one thing that would make that person remotely more qualified than Jim Kleiner. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Then I'll respond to shaming because of a vote, no. That is not correct. That is not what I'm doing. I'm doing it because there's been plenty of votes that have not gone my way. I've not been happy about it. It's what it is. That's our form of government. The problem was there is 0 follow-up and no other option for action. I've offered other solutions. Nobody wanted to do that. Matter of fact,
Because it was my solution.
the solution I offered in there, and I believe we probably have it in the minutes, we'll find out, where I said, okay, if you don't want Jim, then I guess another option would be that we could go out for this position. We'd have to come up with a rate of pay and all that stuff like that. Does anybody want to do that? We'll list something up, we'll put it out for a job application for people. Nothing. I said, okay, well then if nobody wants one of those options, then I need another option. And if you're voting against it, I need an option. This is something that can't not go. That is exactly how that conversation went. And I mean, am I wrong about that? If you're saying I'm wrong, we'll find a way to release these minutes then. 'Cause that's what happened.
I think you did bring it up. I didn't really take it as you were polling the council, because at this time it was 9 o'clock at night, and I'm ready to go home.
It was mighty late. And then the other thing, you make a mention of, threat. I don't want to put people's business up there, but this is the second time where you've tried to throw somebody on the bus that somebody's treated you poorly or something like that. And I'm not going to try to victim shame or whatever, but I put that up there because I don't think I was threatening in any way, shape, or form. I didn't say anything
I
inappropriate.
didn't say you were threatening,
Well, you
but you
said
can't order me to do something.
I
You
think it's an
said, I
expectation.
take the please off.
I do take the please off because I was mad. But that's what I said. That's why I read that, because that was the meanest thing I said. The meanest thing I said was, I'm taking out the please. Give me a break.
I think you had it highlighted in green.
Well, that wasn't on the email. I just did that for now.
The
But
guy that wrote the book on leadership at different seasons.
No, he co-wrote it.
Can
Thank
I
you, sir.
ask a question? We've asked 3 meetings. What are things that are outstanding? Can someone give us an idea of what they did? Why could we have not received that
So
information?
the last big question I remember that was asked was they wanted the clerk's office to come up with what are all the functions and the amount of time that it takes. And they put some comprehensive thing together. I thought it ended up being longer than what it really needs to be, but maybe, because somebody like Jim probably doesn't take that amount of time. This guy knows all the things, but with everybody else, it takes an incredible amount of time to do stuff. So that information came out. We did talk about everything that was going on. As far as that other list, I asked on Friday, I said, hey, I need to know the active list of everything that we have going on that is ground to a halt right now, because we're gonna talk about this. So that's where that list came from. So
Well,
there
that was the list we were asking for.
No, you
Yes.
were asking for that, and 90% of that was probably told to the
No.
group.
No.
It was not.
I asked you, Jason, remember the big fight that was going on about economic development and?
Is this
and
where
you
you're
having
nose to
that-
nose?
No, that wasn't nose to
Oh,
nose,
okay,
when you
sorry.
got me at the door there.
When I got
11
you
days
at the
after
door.
my hip surgery, is that what you're talking
I
about?
got you at the door.
Yeah,
Okay,
keep running it.
okay. All right, what's your question?
My question was, you were talking about economic development. I asked you why the council was not having any information on economic development. And you flipped out and told me and everyone else that that's not our right. We don't get to know because it's you.
I didn't
So
say that.
you're-
Yes, you
go get
did.
the audio.
That's not
Let's
what I
release
said.
the audio now. You
I
decided
said
to
you
talk
don't
about
you don't necessarily have a right to control that.
You did not.
No one
Jason.
wanted
You
control.
were
We
right.
just wanted to be informed.
Yeah, and
That's all
and
we wanted
everybody,
to be.
so, and we talk, and unfortunately,
Well,
I really
anybody
do
does.
want to talk about economic development at some point. That is not what this topic one is. Believe me, I want to talk about that. There's an item that is not finished due diligence yet. The moment that finishes due diligence, believe me, I'm putting it on the agenda so we can talk about it. But, so, when it comes to economic development, the people that are in the need to know, so generally, and that's one of the things that I responded to Hillary on, because she says she's usually one of the least to know,
Actually,
which is true.
letters of occupancy, state statute says the fire department signs off on that.
Well, there you
Never
go.
have been told anything.
There you go. Usually it's handled by the zoning administrator, so, but as far as economic development, there's usually, that's usually the one office that probably has the least to do with, getting a service in there, unlike water, sewer, electric, or zoning codes or something like that. That's why some of the other individuals might be brought into certain meetings. I can't have a meeting where I have 3 or 4 commissioners in a meeting. I can't
I
do
don't
that.
want to be in the meeting. Just
We don't
tell me
need-
what's
just
going
let us
on
know.
in
And
the
you have
city.
been, and you have been getting confidential information as things, for example, there's one in particular that you all know about that as that due diligence completes, I've been telling you what it is. Matter of fact, I told you, I didn't say this publicly, they put on there a couple weeks ago, economic development, they wanted to talk about it. I asked them kindly to not put that on there because we have to have this other due diligence finished. And they did delay that to take it off, so I do appreciate that. But you're well aware of all those things that are happening with that.
I had never heard KE until I brought it up in that room there when you flipped out.
KEI?
Yeah.
You don't know what
I
KEI,
had never heard
Nobledorf?
about it. The only thing I did hear about was the review that they had in there that didn't include anyone from the council.
Mac and I were invited.
You might have,
Yeah.
Mac wasn't really invited, no?
He was invited.
I was,
We only found out about it
I was
because of
found out
mishap.
about it, and I asked if I could be present.
Mac, you saying you weren't invited when I called you in the morning and asked if you're gonna be able to be there at the meeting and you said, sorry, I can't make it?
Well, beforehand, I was asked if I could go. And then I had an appointment
Yeah.
to see, so I couldn't go.
You were invited.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're getting
I
off
guess if you
topic.
wanna call it that.
Zoning administration, let's bring her back. So the question is, I stand by with what I said. I still think the right thing to do is we appoint somebody to the position. I have zero problem with modifying, you have that up? You know, if there's a concern with one of those lines about somebody having access to property, I have no problem with directing Pat to make some modifications, maybe change something that maybe another city has, is if they think it's too open-ended or something like that. There's no problem with that, but what we can't have is services not happening, because that is what our land development code has in
One thing
it.
that really confused me was the email that I received, that when I went back through there a little bit more, I seen that you took credit for being the zoning administrator at that time and said, bam,
Yeah.
approved.
So, what happened was,
Yeah.
what he's talking about is,
That's
there,
true.
and Pat, we still haven't got an answer on this. What he's referring to is, there is a thing in state statute that says if there is ever an office that's vacant or vacated, that the mayor fills that officer position. So I assumed that meant I'd have the authority of the zoning administrator if we needed to keep the city moving forward on certain things.
So when did you drop that?
That
Before
email,
economic
that
development?
email was before, when Pat came out and says, Jason, I don't think that's what that means.
You're
I
still
don't think
economic
that means
development
either.
though.
I think you currently have Becky as the zoning administrator because the job
Yeah.
hasn't been filled by a replacement. That's what I think.
Just so you know, I still really wanna know what that state statute
Means.
thing means exactly. It's gotta
I-
be
there
something.
you
Well, I
go.
think it
I've
means that
asked
you
for
should
that
fill in
state
for the maintenance
statute
position and fix the
In
toilet.
executive
Yeah,
session, didn't I not?
Absolutely.
I asked for that state statute in executive session. Did I not? And I know I absolutely
You
did.
asked for a state statute,
Oh, yeah, I asked for the one you're talking about,
okay?
and I never did get it. I asked if I could see it.
Pretty easy to
Thanks.
find. I don't know, I don't recall
Once
that.
again, that's what happens.
Okay. All right,
Just
so
bringing it out.
here's what I recommend. We have an option right now to appoint somebody to the position, and then you can make modifications to the code if we need to, but as long as city services continue to move forward. If you don't want to do that, this is why I'm saying, what is the alternative? And because I have 3 people here that did not want to do that, I'm tasking you, however you want to look at that, I look at that as an obligation you have as your executive authority. What would you like to do? Because it needs to be
Well,
resolved.
I think, Jason, that we've been arguing quite a bit back and forth for no good purpose here, because Commissioner McDermott said he did not vote against the person. He merely has a concern with the language of the zoning
And
administrative
I'd like it
ordinance.
clarified before it
And
gets
so
done.
Commissioner McDermott, if we strike number 2, which is I believe what you had the objection to enter and inspect any premises as needed in the performance of these duties, if we strike that from the zoning administrator position, will you vote for Jim Kleiner as zoning administrator?
Old business, very good.
Hold on, before we ask that, Pat,
I
is that
can't
something that
really
we can
ask that.
Can we strike that if it's something that needs to be solved in a thing?
I think you can strike it, but I think there's an
There's-
easier way to fix it, which is to say, as authorized by law.
Sure.
They can enter a building if they're authorized to do it,
Perfect.
with the permission of the owner, if they have a search warrant,
Okay.
any number of other things, but we
So-
could insert those few words into that provision.
So in that case,
Nobody's
Commissioner,
given me any direction to change anything.
in that case, Commissioner McDermott, if we did that, would you vote for Jim Kleiner as zoning administrator?
I've already stated that I feel the ordinance needs to be clarified first.
Okay, so if we do that, with what Jim just suggested, will you vote yes?
Here we go
It's a
again.
yes or no
just
question.
like the executive session. I've asked for that state statute. I haven't received it.
First of all,
That's a
that
whole
state
separate
statute
topic.
is completely separate, and
That's- I
our
understand
attorney
that.
said that he believes it does not give me that authority to take over the zoning administrator. So he's already
But
given me
I
his
asked
response.
for it because in the
That's-
executive session, that was brought up.
That's
'Cause nobody else
totally
has it. I don't
unrelated. I'm asking you a yes
It's
or no.
not totally unrelated.
I'm
One
asking
at a
you-
time.
I just want a yes or no answer to my question. If we were to modify it in that form, yes or no, would you vote for Jim Kleiner as zoning administrator?
I won't vote for anybody for zoning administrator until it's done.
Okay, so you will vote for Jim
Ordinance.
Kleiner if it's changed.
What did I just say?
Is that a yes or a no?
I said I will not vote for anybody until the
Okay,
ordinance.
so
is
if
done.
it's changed,
Well, guess what-
hypothetically, will you?
Well, guess what we have on here? We have it as possible action.
Possible
So,
action.
I think somebody could make a motion to make that change. I think technically we're supposed to have it typed out first, though, and stuff like that.
Well,
I have been told I can't do anything for this
Yep.
council without them directing me to do that. Matt keeps talking about changes to this ordinance, but nobody has made a motion to change the ordinance.
Okay, so how about this? What if there's a motion to direct Pat to make the modification to that, so it's on the next agenda to approve, right? Make that motion, that's done. Can we then appoint somebody to the position so we don't have all these services ground to a halt?
I think that's great.
That's the question to the council. This is what I'm saying, you cannot stick your, I refuse to let people just stick their head in the sand and
I'm-
pretend.
I'm still saying
didn't
that we
stick
have
my
a
head in the
capable
sand.
employees that are gonna able, I don't feel like we need to keep hiring and hiring and hiring. Can we renegotiate with Burton and offer a stipend instead of an hourly wage?
see, now we're
He
discussing
came,
things that.
he came
should
back
be-
and countered what he wanted to offer, and it's up to us to say. I mean, you can
We
say,
can counter again, I mean,
if you
there's
wanna
nothing.
counter
that-
again, you could do that.
Okay.
But
I think there is a significant discrepancy, though.
there was a large difference between what that cost was going to be and what we had. You put me in a position where
I'm
Burton
just-
is more than qualified to do the position. He's more than qualified. Great qualified. There's just nobody that's as qualified as another individual, and that person's offering to do it faster and cheaper. To me, that should be the first priority. I don't know why anybody would be against that. I really wish somebody would explain that to me.
I
why
don't
somebody
think
would be
we
against
need
it.
any more employees. I think I've made that very clear.
I mean, you're still gonna be paying Burton more, so.
Do you realize that we paid, like, what was the difference between our current clerk's salary and the past clerk's salary was like $40,000 different?
Substantial.
So that's what
She's
caused.
also had the experience.
You don't think the other individual does?
No, I'm not saying that, but, well, there's, I don't want to say it out
I'm-
loud.
Okay, I'm looking to
just gonna
find a
let
way
it
to
be.
resolve this, is what I'm looking to do. I'm literally trying to find a way to and I've tried to do it in closed session for the last 6 months, and nobody wants to do anything, they just want to let everything rot. So that's why I'm doing it here. We are going to get a solution for this. I feel like, I wish we could do a lock-in, like, we're not leaving until this is getting done, but it doesn't work out. Fire Marshal Code probably have something against that.
Do it.
Well, so Pat, if we did what you were, the possibility you raised, where we changed the ordinance to appease Commissioner McDermott, and.
appease me, do what's right.
We vote to appoint Jim Kleiner to the position of zoning administrator. Those would have to be two separate motions. We couldn't just put them together as one motion.
No, they would need to be two
Okay.
separate motions.
Okay.
So, Mac, the only thing I've heard you complain about is number 2, to enter and inspect any premises as needed in the performance of these duties. In my mind, it's implied that you can't, or he can't, enter a premise without some legal authority to be there. But if you want to clarify that, my suggestion would be to just add to the end of that, as authorized by law, period.
Okay,
If somebody wants to make a motion to make that change, I can draft an ordinance to change that section of the code.
okay.
I would very happily do it if there is a guarantee that Commissioner McDermott will vote for Jim Kleiner, because otherwise I think it's kind of a waste of paying an attorney to do something like that.
If that is what somebody is saying is holding them up for approving something, I don't think it's necessary, and it's been this way since the history we've had.
But I just want to know before we vote on it. because otherwise we're blowing money for no good reason.
Well,
We've
To
done
add,
that
to add three
before.
words.
what do we
or
do in the
4 words
last
or whatever
hour
it
or
is.
two here? So I would recommend my recommendation is to make that motion to get it resolved. So that way you've taken out one more barrier of us getting services, things completed.
Okay,
Pat, I've
Let's
got
do it.
a number of things I brought
that's
up.
what it takes.
Does anybody else have anything else to talk about that before somebody makes a motion on that? Please go ahead.
I'm trying to find them. I had quite a few, Pat. I apologize, sir.
I haven't heard any more, Mac.
I will make a motion that we add, as authorized by
can
law,
send it to you.
the zoning administrator ordinance under B2 following in the performance of these duties.
Okay. Is there a second? Okay.
I never had an objection to it, so
You didn't have
I never had an objection to the language in there.
I did.
I
Okay.
didn't.
Okay, fair
You
enough.
know I didn't.
Fair enough. Well, are you okay with that change? Do you think that change makes it better what
I think it's
Commissioner-
irrelevant.
I absolutely agree. I completely concur that I think it's irrelevant. I don't think that's stopping somebody from whatever needs to be done. But if that's gonna get us over the hump for somebody on
Agreed.
this council, that's my thought process to fix forward.
Well, then he should be the one to second it, in my opinion.
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah. Is there-
all right. Is there a second? Last time I waited, I said something and there's like, I didn't give me enough time. So I don't know what the appropriate amount of time is, but I think
Pat,
that's
I'm
allowed.
looking up for the whole thing I wrote.
I do the lack of a second.
All right, I think that, I do a second. Okay, so we're not fixing that ordinance then. Mac, my question's to you. You said you wanted to fix that ordinance before you could
Well,
appoint somebody.
I'm actually trying to find what I wrote and sent out to everybody, sir.
You trying to find the ordinance? I have it right here if you want.
No, not the ordinance. But thanks for talking once again, Colin. You're such an expert on everything, right?
Just, can you focus on what it is you want to say?
I am. I get interrupted all the time, don't I? That's what people like.
While he's looking for that, does anybody have
Sorry.
an alternative suggestion that they would like to look? I'm willing to entertain other ideas and avenues.
I would like to see if there's any negotiation on the building inspector to assume these responsibilities, because that is what other communities do who have more development than we do.
So his concern was that he was concerned of the amount of time it would take. So if he was going to, which he agreed that he would do this, but he was concerned that if it took so much time, he would have to compensate what his salary loss would be for his other things that he does for compensation.
Does he have a business?
He farms.
Yes.
He farms and he does, I think he does some electric work.
I think whatever the number is gonna be, it's gonna be substantially more than what Jim was requesting.
Mac, did you find what you're looking for yet?
No, I haven't found it.
Are you talking about that email that you sent that was,
Yeah, it was long.
no, that's not what I was gonna say.
I know.
Well, we're
Yeah,
kind of at a
it had a
standstill here.
whole
Do we need to
list.
table this for later in the same meeting? This needs to be resolved. But we have other items to do.
I need to focus on the other items as well.
I don't want to table this, Pat, because it's another 2 weeks then of, can you bring up that thing that's all the stuff that's
Yeah.
not happening right now?
You already had that on the board.
So the KEI Training Center project is very complex for what they're looking to do, right? And Jim has been kind of a central point trying to go back and forth, trying to help with that process for them. The proposed restaurant for the former Two Brothers, they're looking to build some stuff for like a patio thing too. We have two
I
businesses.
thought that place sold again,
What's that?
the Two Brothers place.
Whoever the new one that's coming
No,
in.
again, I thought.
Oh, I haven't heard that. I heard something that another restaurant was coming in, but then, again, I don't know the details, but I had heard that the owners of the restaurant is gonna be or the owners of the restaurant's gonna be one thing, but it'll be another company coming in to do the food or something. I don't know the details of that. The two downtown building improvement grant applications, one is for a brand new business in town and one is for an expanding business. So, do we wanna really hold them up? The new liquor store, granted, I can't say that that's a speed thing, cause that's been going on for almost a year. But the other economic opportunities, I want to be able to talk about soon, they're going to need some help with that. We have an incredible number of building permits.
That shouldn't be stopped by a zoning administrator.
Some of them, I don't have all the details, but some of them are relatively, most of them do not. So yeah, when I say dozen plus, I guess that's kind of, I'm cheating a little bit by saying that all of that is that. Not all of those are zoning administrator. Some of them are relatively complex and do require that. Short-term rental applications, property subdivision, I don't have the details of what those are right now. There's a couple emails on it, but there's a lot of requests going out there for, residents are very busy this summer in town. And these are just what I know about. I'm sure
Here it
there's
is.
probably more. Go ahead.
May I? I apologize, I'm interrupting, but I found it.
No, go ahead, please.
Pat, you received it on Wednesday, 7:15. Sorry, if you didn't receive it, I'll have to send it
No,
to you.
I have it here, man. Right in front of me, 8:47 a.m. I didn't understand a lot of it, but I did receive it.
Well, you could have asked me, I would have been more than happy to try to explain it to you. ChatGPT, why would you use that? I can guarantee you I did
So it
not.
appears as if he was also objecting to the language in 5.
It
which-
appears?
Yeah.
Okay, glad you,
So I'd
Appears.
also be very happy to modify the language to 5, to include the written statement, why or why not, like, that's fine with me too.
So what you have here, this is what you're recommending, isn't that less than what Pat even gave? To enter and inspect any premises needed in the performance of their duties.
also I put on there first, right off the bat, sole authority. Somebody explained to me in executive session that sole authority meant that the individual as a zoning administrator would have the final word. I believe that was said.
There are probably certain aspects to, I mean, you go throughout the land development code, there are things in there that says the zoning administrator has the authority to approve or do or take
The
an
authority
action.
to approve.
Sole authority, though,
But
is
then they
not-
go to the council
It doesn't mean the
if
council
the
can't
council
override.
disagrees.
The language sole authority is not in the ordinance, though.
It is
Does
not.
not exist.
Okay, so then
Right.
what's the concern?
I wanted to make sure that that wasn't in there at all.
There you go, not in there.
So if we change 2 and 5,
What do you want with number 5 again?
he wants like a written explanation why the zoning administrator decides to do something.
I feel a written statement explaining why or why not should be proposed as a record of notification to the head of the plan commission, the mayor, and the council.
Hold on,
Sure.
we might have an expert in the audience that might be able to explain something to us.
Jim, please.
Sir, if you could, that'd be great.
We all know who it is. It's Jim. Come on.
Underqualified. So,
No, you're
the
not.
Land Development Code, chapter 14, one of the duties of zoning administrator is to give a written opinion.
Beautiful.
And he sends that written opinion to the zoning board of appeals or to the plan commission. That's number one. And I told you on July 9th that section
Mhm.
1411.110 addresses the zoning appeals decisions. The appeal is made to
Good.
the zoning board for their opinion. And then the council votes. And both of them can agree with or overrule the zoning administrator. So there's no sole decision making. It's all in the book. And you might wanna look at chapter 14 when you modify that other thing, because the plan commission may also need to change some language in land development code about the zoning administrator's access.
Well, it says it in there too?
I believe, I can't find it on my
Okay.
phone.
Well, as I said,
Council has its final say, as he's stating here. What happened in that room there, the Kay said that they didn't have the authorization, and they were told to go back to the
And
drawing
that was
board numerous
wrong.
times. And the council has still not heard
Turn your
anything about what's going on out there. So it doesn't ring true that it comes to the council, because we've still not heard, and they've been told numerous times
you're
already.
talking about KEI?
KE, it's Noble Enterprise.
Yeah.
So,
No.
speaking about that, I've given them options that they can make requests being heard by the plan commission to get a change in the language to allow what they wanna do as a special use
And
in
in
that
that one
area.
district.
and have one district.
And
They
it
haven't
has,
responded. I haven't said they can't do it. I don't have the authority to say they can't do it. But I've given my interpretation of the code. They haven't objected to it, they haven't done anything with it.
And my understanding is, the reason the council hasn't taken an action on it is because there's been no variance to come forth to us, there's been nothing that's been.
There's been no petition.
There's been no
So
petitions,
the
there's been
council
nothing.
certainly could.
What do you mean?
Well, we would have the ability, if something,
yeah.
if it went through the plan commission or whatever, and they
Yeah.
voted it down, we could ultimately override whatever. So we do
Absolutely.
ultimately have final
But
authority.
it hasn't
so-
come to us yet because
Exactly,
there's been no
exactly,
action on
but to Rich's point, we do possess final authority, so, I mean, I think, just this example here, I think, you know, Jim's encyclopedic knowledge of that stuff, I think he just today made the case,
Yeah.
for why he'd be,
Appreciate
overqualified to be zoning administrator, so.
Okay. Pat, what's your thoughts on the number 5 thing there, to add something to that? Is that a concern? Or is it just extra
I don't
fluff?
have any concern with it. I mean,
Okay.
it hasn't been a problem in the use of this ordinance for over a year.
Okay, in that case, Mac, you have 2 things that you sent in that you'd like to get modified. Would you like to make a motion to make those modifications to that zoning administrator ordinance?
Well, I'd like to make a motion to make those modifications to the ordinance.
I need to hear him,
The
Matt, because
administrator.
I'm unclear as to what it is you're trying to do here.
My question, before we vote on
Oh,
anything.
okay, you go ahead, make your
Oh,
motion.
hey, hey.
Go ahead, I'm done. He's
Not making a
interrupted me
motion.
again.
Please.
No.
Please, yes, go
My
ahead.
question,
Okay.
my question is, before we vote on spending
Go ahead,
attorney
Austin.
fees on drafting, again, another revision of our
You're gonna
ordinances.
say, but if we
I
do
just
this, am I
wanna-
gonna vote yes or no?
Yes, I wanna know whether you're gonna vote yes or no.
Okay. So
Well, I'll
you,
probably vote yes or no, but I don't know
hold
for
on.
you. How's
Hold
that?
on. Hold on. You made a motion, so one of my jobs as the chair is if a motion is unclear, you're supposed to restate the motion. So your motion was, is it correct that your motion was to modify ordinance number 1280-021825, number 2, to read, to enter and inspect any premises needed in the performance of their duties, and to number 5, to hear and decide applications for interpretation of the use of the classifications, land development regulations, and of the land development code and zoning district boundaries? Is that what your motion was?
Hold on.
I would implore the citizens of Oglesby to reach out to your elected officials. I think they need to hear from constituents.
I would second that, Jason.
I
don't-
encourage it.
I encourage it highly, because
do
I
as
don't know
well.
what else I can do
Please.
here at this point.
I would encourage the council to do something here within a little time. We've been an hour and a half on this.
Matt, you
We've
made a
already spent
motion.
time on it the last
Matt,
meeting.
Hang
last
on.
meeting.
you made a motion. I restated what I believe your motion to be. Is that accurate?
That's problem, it's a belief, okay? So hold on. You're right, Alice.
I read from your email that you sent, Pat,
Okay.
if that's your wording.
That is my wording, that's not, what did you call it, GPT? That's, no. Why would I use artificial intelligence?
Mac, is that your motion?
My motion is with questions that I've asked in here.
Say again?
The questions that I asked Pat and addressed to everyone. That'll be my motion. Any more
Do you
clarity?
have it in front of you, Matt?
Yes,
Do you
I
want to
do.
restate your motion, please? Because I'm completely lost as to what it is you want these things to say. They've been working fine for a year the way they are. If you want to change them, I need to hear specifics.
Well, the first one was sole authority, which was said in executive session. I feel that
So
no
what
one,
would you like it to say at the first one?
no one should have
It doesn't say
sole
that.
authority. It doesn't say that, you're right.
Okay.
Somebody was saying that in executive session, correct?
I don't know.
To enter and inspect any premises in the performance of their duties. With this, I understand that sometimes that may be a need, but I feel this should be no different than given to an officer of the law, as we are a commissioner form of government. I feel that someone outside the council should be addressed to give approval, making it a check and balance. I believe, and I was requesting going to the head of the Plan Commission Board, where Jim would ask, and was assigned by the mayor and council. Also, a notification should be given to all parties involved before action is taken. Number 5, to hear and decide applications and interpretations of the use and classification of land development regulations of the land development codes and zoning district boundaries. I feel a written statement explaining why or why not should be provided as a record of notification to the head of the Plan Commission, the mayor, and the council, once again, ensuring a mutual understanding
Okay.
and trust.
Okay.
Other than these areas I have brought forth, as of now, I see nothing else.
Okay, everything you just said at the end there, it
Those-
sounds to me like
that's
you
it.
read the ordinance that you wanted to put, and then you included your narrative in there, because you talk about, I feel the council should do that.
Okay.
That's not part of the ordinance.
Without the I
Without
feel
that,
part.
that's why I'm asking you, if your motion is this, is your motion to modify ordinance number 1280-021825 to now read section 2, to enter and inspect any premises needed in the performance of their duties, and for number 5 to now read to hear and decide applications for interpretation of the use and classifications, land development regulations of the land development code and zoning district boundaries.
Okay, that I put underneath too, that needs to be in there.
The parts where you say, I feel the council.
As we are a commissioner form of government, that someone outside the council should be addressed to give approval, making a check and balance system.
Why
Should
wasn't
be
this taken
obtained
care of
by a
Wednesday?
formal, I don't know.
Oh,
That'd be
Christ,
easier.
An hour and a half. of
Well,
this.
I don't know,
He needs to add at the end, the motion, to change the ordinance, in section 2 to add, as is lawful, and in section 5 to add, after giving written statements to the mayor and council, and any boards applicable. That's what you need, right, for section 5?
That sounds
Yep.
good. Thanks.
Yep, and we have a first from Mac. I just need a
Okay.
second.
before I ask for a second, does that make sense to you, Pat?
Thank you for the clarification,
Mhm.
Jen. I
Thank
can
you for
take care of
understanding.
Number 2, but number 5, you wanted me to add after giving written statements to.
The mayor, council, and,
Plan Commission.
Plan
the applicable
commission.
boards.
Head.
yep, yep.
Okay. Does that make sense, Pat?
It does.
Is there a s-
Thanks, Jen.
Oh, go ahead.
Jen, I appreciate
there's
it.
Yeah,
a
no
second.
problem.
Thank you.
There's a first and a second on there
Okay.
to modify that.
Wait.
Oh, come
Pat,
on. Here we
Would
go
that
again.
language tie the zoning minister's hands that he'd have to give a written document on every building permit? Because that's what they want, right? So every building permit that I would issue,
Yeah.
I'd have to forward all you that I'm giving this guy a building permit for this. Do you guys really want that kind of detail? Do you want to handcuff your person?
No.
Why would you do that? You're gonna want written opinions on really the stuff where the zoning administrator would disallow a use, right? Or something, you want in writing what he's presenting to the zoning board of appeals and what he's presenting to the planning commission. That's in the code, that's in chapter 14. You don't need to handcuff him with something else.
I agree, Jim.
I read that
But-
And then
14.
I agree as well.
on the
Think-
section 2, the legal entry thing, there are times when you have to go in and see what's going on, right? You have to make sure that it's an allowed use, that somebody didn't move in and start doing something, right? So you need to knock on the door and say, hey,
Well,
and they can tell you, no, you can't come in. And I've been involved in cases where the city attorney goes to court and gets an order from a judge that says you have to let these people in to investigate these things.
and that would be resolved as the applicable by law.
Right, so,
Okay.
Would
I
it-
mean, there are times when there's a house fire, right? And the zoning administrator has to ascertain, how damaged was that house? Can it be rebuilt? Because it was grandfathered in a certain area, but it was a non-conforming use. He has to be able to get in to make those kind of determinations. And you shouldn't handcuff him with have you go to the judge, Mother May I. Alright? So you guys need to read chapter 14. The term zoning administrator is mentioned 35 times. It gives his duties
Read it.
and responsibilities. And a lot of these questions would be answered if you would read chapter 14, and you would do a search for zoning administrator. Max questions, he asked me, and in 10
did.
minutes, I put away the idea of the sole authority. Right? And I told
Yes, you
him
did.
that it's mentioned 35 times in the book. So if you had any other questions about what the zoning administrator would do, you could look in that book.
Thank you, thank you.
Sorry.
Do you have a
Thank
question?
you.
I would also add,
Thank you, Jim.
reading chapter 14, it actually does say, you said something about how you were being kind of selfish or whatever you said, you were embellishing whatever with the dozen building permits.
Oh,
and
because
how-
it's not really all a dozen. You
Yeah,
need to go through the zoning
if you do
administrator.
read chapter 14, 14.11.190, the section on building permits, it does say, the zoning administrator will grant or deny the building permit within 30 days of application. Any building permit issued is subject to inspection by the zoning administrator to ensure compliance with the plan submitted to the city of Oglesby. So it does sound like the zoning.
Subject to it, but not
Yeah.
every, not everyone,
Subject.
simple ones don't have to, they don't require any.
But
action.
it also does say all applications for building permits for planned unit developments, multifamily dwellings, or commercial or industrial improvements must be reviewed and approved by the zoning administrator, city engineer, and/or licensed independent engineer or inspector retained. So I guess you could have the building inspector, but.
We're getting off
Yeah, yeah.
track here.
I just wanted to.
So we have a motion, a first and a second. Is there any other discussion before I call roll call? Roll call, please.
Baldridge. Cullinan.
Abstain.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
And Curran.
Aye. Okay. So now,
So
We-
now I'll make the changes.
You'll make the
to
changes.
these two, as
Yep.
Jennifer was kind enough to
And-
throw out.
Yep. and we will approve that at the very next meeting then.
Okay,
Perfect. That'll be on the agenda.
hopefully you will.
Hopefully, we will. I mean, okay, so now that that's been resolved, and we have those concerns answered, can we now appoint a zoning administrator so we can get things moving again, so I don't have to worry about these things falling and not happening any further? If we need to if we need to modify anything further, we can do that. Matter of fact, we are gonna have to create the rate of pay thing that he talked about, because it wasn't in there before. It was always used to be part of somebody's salary already on the city. So that would have to be done anyways, but I would rather get somebody in the seat so we are not spinning our wheels like we have for the last 2 weeks. Because again, as I said, we've limped along for 10 months, but the last 2 weeks, things have ground to a halt.
May I ask something?
You may, sir.
Thank you, sir. What did we do before the 2 years that Becky took that over? Who did it? Who did the zoning administration then?
A lot of times it was between Amy and the engineers and the city attorney.
So why isn't that
So-
feasible any longer?
Because it costs even more at that point. Because Chamlin's, we pay at a rate of 185 an hour. Maybe,
And I'm more
it's
than that.
already more.
And I spent a half hour looking at a zoning administration issue this afternoon
I
for you,
understand
and
that.
responded to
So-
Patty about it.
So when Becky was clerk, she would send zoning administrator stuff to Chamlin's where her husband worked?
If
He's-
she
he's-
needed
can we
information,
ask-
I
can we
don't
ask
think
Jim?
so.
You asked two different things. You asked what we did when Amy was here, not necessarily.
Well, he
Becky.
did,
I
but.
did.
Yeah,
But
okay,
yeah,
sorry.
that's okay.
Yeah, so when Amy was here, we did not have a zoning administrator, so it was kinda like we had here, but we would use people like Jim from Chamlin's and our city attorney to do all those things. When Becky was here, Becky was capable of that, but if you know, her base salary was similar to what our clerk's is now, but she got paid an overtime amount, and she put an incredible amount of hours in, and she got paid at her rate with overtime, and that's why she had over $100,000 salary. So that's the differences. This is why I don't even know what we're talking about this. To me, this is the simplest fiduciary responsible decision that could be possibly made. I don't even know why this is an argument. I really don't.
I would also add to Rich's point, what he said about, well, Mac brought up the thing about it being a team of the former city clerk, well, not the former city clerk, but the city clerk before her, the city engineer, and the attorney. If you guys want answers to what's being decided and why it's being decided, it's a lot easier to get that from one person than it is from a team of 3 people. So, just throw it out there.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we've got that resolved, Mac, I don't know if that's answered your question, because you said you didn't vote no on the individual. You were concerned about the position. Now that you've taken your motion specifically, does anybody have any concerns about Jim Kleinert as a zoning administrator? If he is kind enough to still do it, because my fear is now I'll nominate him, he'll get voted in, and he'll come to me tomorrow and say, I don't know what you're thinking, man. There's no way I'm doing this. I fear that.
I gotta be honest, and I'll start off, if that's okay. I ain't got nothing against Jim.
Okay.
But I think we need to do that zoning administrator, get it all printed up first.
Why first?
It seems as if you're
Because
acting like the
every
sky is
time-
falling, but this was taken care of prior to Jim being around here and there being an actual zoning administrator. Why is the sky falling all of a sudden right now? And these things right here are so critical to the city.
you go
that
back to the
will
email?
Because
never,
we
ever
received
happen.
resignations again to be
Yeah.
forcing our hand.
They
That's
said
why.
they can't do it. They are so far behind in the other things they do, and the only reason they're able to do it is because Jim was helping them with answering questions quickly and keep things moving, and now that it no longer exists. So that's why.
Can I make a motion that we do the appointment of zoning administrator, move it to after closed session?
Oh, God. Sit here all night.
You can do that, unfortunately. Yeah, does anybody want to move this, or do we want to take an action on it now? Because I'm ready to make a nomination, but if we think there's a better thing that it's going to happen at the end of the meeting somehow, we can do that too. I'm good with either one. What's the majority want to do?
I don't think we need to spend any more time in a closed session than we already do.
Okay, well, there is a motion on the floor to move it to after closed session. I think we have one that doesn't want to do that, but is there a second for that? There's not a second. I will do a nomination. I would like to nominate Jim Kleinert as zoning administrator. If there's any other discussion on that? If not, please call the roll.
Baldrige.
No.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Too many times, this board has not gotten things completed and not gone through with things.
I can assure you,
I sustain.
I can assure you it's getting on the agenda.
Abstain. Okay, and Moyle.
No.
Kern, aye. So the rules are that if there is an abstain and it's a split vote, it's supposed to acquiesce to the majority. Unfortunately, there is no majority in this case, so therefore it
What
does not
about when you've
pass.
already voted this once? So,
Multiple times, and God
So, Pat, do you have any legal recommendations of how to move forward on this? Because I don't know
first
what.
vote,
I do not.
Okay.
you just keep
Okay.
doing it until you get your way.
I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to do. I thought we've resolved everything we can, but, all right, so that's the discussion. Is there any other further discussion on this? Because I think the actions are all done. Okay, my only 2 cents is I highly recommend constituents talk to your elected officials. I don't know what else to
Please.
say. All right, number 10, new business. A, discussion and possible action on building maintenance position current. Yeah, here we go again. Okay, this one's shorter. Can you bring up the last item? It's the very last one. I'd like to transition into another staffing issue, in my opinion, reflects the exact same challenge we've just discussed with zoning administrator. This discussion really isn't about one repair, it's about whether the city has enough maintenance capacity to properly support the facilities our employees, residents, and partner agencies rely on every day. One recent example that to me has broke the camel's back is that Trident had a bathroom outage at their headquarters for days, and I'm told the problem persisted for even longer. But honestly, the timeline really isn't that important. The point is that Trident shouldn't be waiting on basic maintenance at all. Trident doesn't have to be headquarters in Oglesby. We are fortunate they are. They protect not only our city, but communities throughout this region. Having them located here is a tremendous asset to Oglesby, and I think it's our responsibility to provide them with facilities that are properly maintained. This also isn't just about Trident. Every time we don't have the personnel to perform routine maintenance ourselves, we're forced to rely more heavily on outside contractors. Like, I think there's numerous times this last week, even something went down, so we had to call other people to come in. There are certainly jobs that could be contracted out, but there are also many routine repairs that become more expensive simply because we don't have the staffing to address them promptly.
It also affects something every resident sees: our public buildings, our parks, our city facilities, and the overall appearance of our community. Cleanliness and routine maintenance don't happen by themselves. They require someone whose responsibility it is to stay ahead of those issues instead of constantly reacting to them. Oddly enough, I think we wanted a maintenance log for the new end loader we purchased, but we can't get a maintenance person for all city-related items.
That maintenance guy never would do that.
Just add whatever.
I believe the last one did,
That's not in his job.
No,
duty.
I
he was
kn-
told not to.
hold on.
By them guys.
Hold on, are you telling me that the last one we had did not do hydraulic repairs
No.
on, he did none?
Not that I'm aware of. I thought it went right to the dealer or whoever up here.
I believe he looked at,
Stevenson's. Well, you should have your facts straight, Jason, before
Okay.
you go making these accusations.
well, I don't wanna call on my, street superintendent, but
We
he's in
don't
the
have
room.
to, but you should
Is
have
that-
it ready before that.
Well, my understanding is
You're
that
making the
there was,
accusations.
it's not an accusation.
You-
My
it is.
understanding is we had a very talented maintenance person who did do some hydraulic-related things
And you're
on
probably
some of the
not gonna
equipment we
find
had.
one that good again. I told you that.
Okay.
I wish I could.
They require someone who's, where am I at here? The position is more than just another employee. It's about protecting city property, supporting organizations like Trident, controlled long-term costs, and maintaining the level of service our residents deserve. I believe filling this position now is simply the responsible thing to do. And so I just put up a couple things that are, things that the position does, and it's been also vacant for, I think, maybe not quite 10 months, but I think it's been about 9. City Hall, police facilities, Trident offices, parks, public buildings, public bathrooms, cleanliness of our public facilities, daily operations. So that's my only 2 cents on it. Don't get me wrong, zoning administrator is way more important, but this is also causing other problems that we're having in the city, and it's time to address them. I think we talked about
Since it's
this-
my department, I beg
Hold
to
on.
differ, Jason. And the
Okay.
Trident example you gave was a lie. That was false. That is not how that happened. In fact, I was told that John Sills and Service were called, and it took too long, and that's why Trident went and worked on their toilet. We are not hiring a plumber. We are trying to hire a maintenance man, and as I stated before, I didn't feel it was the exact time to hire him. So I don't know how this came out of closed session, and you have the sky is falling thing again, because the bathroom women's sink supposedly was clogged up, and we were calling John's anyway. So that's another situation where it was not going to be this so-called maintenance man. He did not work on hydraulics down there. This guy is here to clean, basically.
So, with the part, I don't think it was a lie. Initially, I was told it was 6 weeks they were out.
I told you
sent that-
initially.
Well, somebody told me it was 6
It
weeks.
was me,
out.
and it was
And I
4
sent an
days.
email on that, and then I found out that is not correct. It was really only more like 4 days. And I sent an email updating that saying, I apologize, my information was wrong. It's 4 days. That's why I said the timeline is not really that important. It's still the fact that there's an issue.
I think the fact that the communication is at a loss here, because Commissioner Moyle, who is in charge of the police department completely, had no indication of that until after the fact. I've not been told anything, and this is supposedly the guy that I'm in charge of. So why are we not being told anything, but yet you have examples of how they're ready to move out of town and everything else?
I didn't say that.
If it was that bad, why on earth would we not have been told something that was going on here until you come and blast us in an email and in the meeting here? That was
Now-
come from open
Now who's lying?
exec-
I never said those words that they were looking to leave. I said we need to support those kind of facilities. That's what I said. So we'll go around the room. Do you have anything?
Well, I mean, I would say if you weren't informed about it, you should be asking your department heads why you weren't informed about it.
And I sent an email.
But with that being said, I mean, here's the fact of the matter. I mean, you don't hire this position. Again, this is a position, you know, we're not creating new positions. These are existing positions that we just don't want to fill for whatever reason. But when you don't fill the position, there's 2 possibilities that happen. 1, the work that they did doesn't get done. Or 2, the work that they did has to be done by somebody else, and that's either going to take away from their job responsibilities, or you're going to be paying that person overtime to do the work of that person. So, I think this is another situation. I don't think it's as egregious as the zoning administrator thing, but I do think, nonetheless, it is a situation that, should have been rectified at a individual commissioner level, but now is in front of the city council. So I don't know why we choose not to fill this position.
Could have asked.
I do know one of the reasons why. I don't know if Rich, you want to share it, but I think we discussed it in closed session, I believe, and.
Bring it out and do everything else.
We discussed it in closed session, and I don't necessarily think perhaps it's the most ethical reason to not fill it, but it's your choice. So I will leave it there.
So I thought the reason it wasn't being filled is because we have an open collective bargaining agreement.
Yes,
And
that's
to
what I
hire
heard.
someone and say, when today you're being hired under these terms, but these are things that we're trying to negotiate and change, it would create a disgruntled employee if we do win in that arbitration. And I prefer not to cause. On top of that, I did have a discussion, and I really don't know why this is on the agenda. I had a discussion with John Kelly today, and under Commissioner Form of Government, there's no action to be taken. It's not our department. It goes down to the sole authority of the commissioner. So there's no action to be taken. We're just kind of wasting our time. My suggestion, if we're really concerned about the cleanliness, why don't we hire a cleaning lady?
Hillary,
Cleaning person.
to your point, if I can.
Yeah.
I guess
clean
person, yes.
Yeah.
To
Be
your point, if I-
politically correct.
If I can, I don't wanna interrupt, but, I do know that we had also said though, I mean, it is standard practice, I mean, arbitration, you know. if
It
that-
is standard practice,
That
yes.
Works so many
complicates
places.
things. However,
Not even in the
with
Time,
with that being said though, with that being said, what I will say though is, public bodies that have collective bargaining agreements, they consistently hire employees with open collective bargaining agreements. I think my first teaching job, I applied to, and I didn't know what I was going to be making until the contract was settled, and so I think that's fairly standard practice.
If
Obviously, our
wages were
situation is
the
a bit more
only-
unique, but
Yes, if wages were the only thing, but we're also looking at benefits.
yeah, I still think you could hire somebody though.
We could,
Hold on,
but
hold on.
if it does change, do you want to have a disgruntled employee?
I think if you explain that to them up front, they're not going to be
It's
disgruntled.
not our responsibility. Our labor attorney told us
It's
that.
not our responsibility, but if you don't want them to be disgruntled, I would explain it to them up front.
Well, I had discussion, did you call the labor attorney? Because I did.
Okay.
I don't think I had to call a labor attorney for that.
No, but I
No, you
asked
have
these
that vast
questions.
Never
experience.
called a labor attorney.
Okay, do you have anything else?
No.
Okay, Mac?
Well, actually, I agree, Hillary, that's a good idea. Well, I don't know why we couldn't do that, at least until, contract is settled and you're able to get a hold of somebody. What do you think, Rich? You could do like however months too.
Anything else, Mac?
No, that's it.
Rich?
No?
Okay, so, a couple things. Yes, this was something that was talked about in closed session. Closed session is the advantage of us to try to deliberate and talk about things that fall under those categories. That does not necessarily mean they have to be. And I believe what happened in there last time was that I had everybody on this council agreeing, we need to hire a maintenance person, except one person.
That's,
Wait,
you took a
I
vote and
didn't
it was
agree to
no,
that.
the majority was against you,
I
so
had
then you brought
everybody.
it out here again.
Hold on. This is what I'm talking about. Please, you gotta, I don't interrupt you.
You do.
I do
So
not.
does
You
he.
interrupt everybody.
Jesus, you don't stop
Yes.
talking.
Everybody
So,
interrupts.
what I'm
everybody.
trying to say is, so when we were in there, I had agreeance from everybody, this is what we should, yeah, we absolutely should. And I said, okay, well, here's the thing. We are a commissioned form of government, so what that means is, one person has the sole control over that, unless the majority of a council wants to step in and say.
Show me that
we should-
statute.
They can.
Because John said that doesn't exist
That doesn't exist, that we
Jason's
can decide what
statutes.
we wanna do.
He
for
can decide for
hiring.
everybody.
I was on the
Oh.
council
Ooh.
when Commissioner
I'm
Cullen
just
at
saying,
the
I
time
got the advice from our
did something that was
attorney.
against the council's actions, and the council
Ironically,
took
it was
action on
Mr.
it.
Cullen's father.
Yeah,
He
I
should
was
have
on that
sued you.
council when that happened.
I'm not sure if it was legal, but.
Okay,
Wasn't.
well, that's a
He
different-
does what he wants. He's got his own set of rules. He makes up his own definitions.
Yep, okay. So my 2 cents is, and at the time, I believe I asked, well, I just need to know from the majority, because what I have the right to do, I do have the right to do this, is if there's inaction by a commissioner, I can take over and I can take that action.
Show me
So
that
I asked, oh, are you done, sir?
Are you done lying? You're wrong, and those are not the truthful things you're saying, Jason.
Okay,
Show us where.
okay. Says it's in the ordinance, it's
It's
in state
not.
statute.
You tried that when I first got on, Jason, and it was a lie then, and it's a lie now.
It-
Show it to us.
I'm so tired of all this stuff.
I'm tired of you
It
lying.
is written right there.
It is written.
It's
The
written right on
commissioner
the
shall be
thing.
vested with the right, power, and authority to appoint all employees subordinate to his department,
Yep.
unless otherwise provided by law
Go up to
or
the
ordinance.
mayor's position.
You go up to the mayor's position.
I don't have it in front of me.
I don't need it.
It says the mayor can act on behalf of any commissioner in the absence of them or their inability to act.
I don't have an inability to act.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. If the council were to determine that, and I asked, and
And the vote was
I got,
no.
hold on.
I had one commissioner hung his head down, didn't want to say anything, and another one said,
I'm not stepping into
that's
it.
exactly what you said.
That is not
I
a
should have not
positive.
let that, you said, you made a joke and said, I'm not stepping into that one.
And I'm
which
glad I didn't, because I
Okay.
called the labor attorney. It's not in the authority of the
Okay.
commission.
So, all I can do is put it out there. We don't have services for that. I don't care if anybody wants to get a cleaning person or what they need to do to limp that along. I don't think there's any reason to say that because we're in contract negotiation, you don't hire people. You hire them based on your current contract then, and then they would get adjusted for whatever the new contract would be, if they wanted to take the job or not. To me, it's irrelevant.
I will say, we did, the council can reassign oversight, so they already tried
We
that
sure
once.
can,
This-
Austin. You should
they-
know. Your
they-
dad got it from
well,
this guy.
yeah,
How ironic,
I
isn't it?
should know too, because you tried to do it to me earlier in this council.
Okay.
You tried to take over control of the building and electric inspector.
I tried to take your
Oh,
duties?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, you are a joke.
All right.
It's true.
All right.
Public
Okay,
record.
is there any other,
Oh
ti-
my God.
I want to focus this. Why now? Is there any other discussion on the building maintenance position? If there's no other discussion for it, then there's nothing to take.
What I will say
Okay.
is, as far as it pertains to cleaning, if we need to hire a cleaning lady, sure, but I'm sure that we have employees, probably, especially in the Parks Department, that are working overtime,
And
and
they
you're not
have
gonna hire
been.
a cleaning lady to go and do the stuff that they're doing, so,
Our former employee didn't clean either.
well, okay, but I'm saying that there's other
He
stuff.
chose not to.
I'm
They
saying
didn't
that there's
steam clean
other.
the carpets in here?
No.
No, he did, he.
I mean, what am I seeing? Am I seeing things
Did
that
you
don't
not,
happen?
did you not hear that, I guess we can talk specifics in closed session, but our park employee was always doing that.
Are you telling me that I did not see our maintenance person coming in here and steam cleaning carpets in the morning when we
We
had
don't
our
have
carpets? and
carpets,
like that?
so no,
Saying
you
that didn't
weren't.
happen. I
Oh,
mean,
no,
this is
no,
what I'm
I'm
talking
not
about.
saying, no, I'm not saying, that was years ago. I'm not saying our last maintenance guy did not.
I don't know that.
Okay.
I'm telling you that what I've seen in the past and what happens, so,
But
okay.
I do know that there are people in the Parks Department that are working overtime, and you're probably not gonna hire a cleaning lady to come in and do their job, so, I don't think that's sufficient, but it is what it is.
Okay, well, is there any other discussion on this topic, or are we ready to move on?
Let's move on,
Okay.
please, thanks.
B, discussion and possible action on young variance denied by committee. Cullinan.
I'm gonna throw this to Pat.
So the, zoning board of appeals met on July 16th to consider an application for variance filed by Catherine Young for a setback reduction from 5 feet to 4 feet at her property located at 141 East Second Street in Oglesby. After thorough discussion, Catherine was present, and the board asked her questions. The board unanimously voted to deny her request for a variance, citing the fact that the shed had been started to be erected 2 years ago. There's a foundation poured and the walls are framed up. No building permit was ever requested for that project. And in the course of the conversation, it became evident that the property was gonna be used for a business purpose, which is not allowed in that zoning district. So for all of those reasons, the zoning board of appeals unanimously denied the request for variance.
No comment.
I don't have comment on the specifics, but how does one get notified of these meetings? Because on Friday, I was coming home from work, I checked my drive, and it said posted on the 14th, so I'm like, was there a meeting today? It's Friday. I went to the city website, and there was a zoning administrator agenda posted, which linked to our current this. So unless I walk by the door, I have no idea that there's a meeting.
Was it linked properly?
I don't know about that, but Jen did add it to the calendar. I don't know what day she
I
added it to
checked
the
Friday.
calendar. Okay,
I
I know it was
added
on the
it
calendar the day
On
of, at
Monday
least.
when I did the agenda,
Okay.
last Monday, it was added to the calendar.
So, I feel ignorant. I don't know what you're talking about when you say calendar.
There's an out, where in your email, so you have
That's
like.
for us though, but I think.
Oh, on
Yeah.
I
that
think what
calendar?
she's- I
I'm
think
talking
what
about the
she's
city
asking.
website. I checked the
Yeah,
city
I don't
website
know. I don't know
calendar.
what was posted
I
on the city
assume that
website
she was,
when.
I assume that she's referring to where can the public be aware?
Yeah.
Hillary, is that kind of what you're?
Yeah.
Yes, I would think
It,
that.
it was also in the paper. we have to put him,
In
so
the
it was.
news- Newspaper?
Published it
Okay.
15 days
Okay.
before the meeting.
Is there a way, because I know we talked about this in the past, is there a way that we can put something out there so that way there is a notification somewhere on our website that says, hey, we got a park board meeting, we got a zoning board meeting, we got a plan commission meeting, just for the next one that's on there? Is that yes or no, that we, I apologize if we already have that, and I'm asking a really stupid question.
Isn't that on the calendar?
It's,
Well, yeah, that was what we wanted to use the calendar
But it's
for.
our calendars, right?
it's
What
our
you're saying?
Outlook calendar?
Well, actually, no, anybody can access the Outlook calendar, so the Outlook calendar is public, so any meetings or whatever that are added there, anybody can
Is
access.
there a link to that?
Yeah, it's on the city website,
Okay.
so,
I'll have to have somebody click on that doesn't already have like
yeah.
my city access, because I want to make sure that when somebody clicks on that, they have access to whatever, so we'll check that, okay.
Pretty sure it is,
Right.
but, I think actually just a good practice, yeah, so it's under lifestyle city calendar, so. But I think a good practice, honestly, I know it's something that I've seen done before, I'd like to maybe see it done moving forward, is, if we have any sort of meeting, city council meeting, any public meeting,
Mhm.
I think, putting it on Facebook as well is probably a good idea, so.
Okay. Mac, anything?
Not at this time.
Rich? Okay. The only thing I can say is, I know sometimes we talk about this a lot, and I know it's very frustrating, and sometimes I'm embarrassed that we talk about it, because we talk about, hey, how we being more transparent with information. I know transparency is a huge buzzword and everything like that, but I will say that all our faults and flaws that we have done in this administration, we really have stepped up the amount of opportunities to be able to put information out there. Granted, they're all not working as perfectly as they should, but I think we've been better when it comes to our finances, our bills, what we're approving in our ordinances and stuff like that. So I think we should continue to do that and continue to struggle or to make it better and better. But, okay, so the question we have here is, we got a recommendation to deny the variance request. What I did hear, one thing I had a concern of mine, they already had the foundation and the things poured. Was there any discussion of how that's gonna get handled moving forward, or no? Okay.
Nope.
Shouldn't have poured it.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, does anybody has any other discussion? If not, if we can get I don't know if you wanna go with the recommendation, but can we get a recommendation
A
to,
motion to
A motion-
approve or deny the request for
motion to
variance.
deny the variance, I suppose?
I'll make a motion to deny the Young variance.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge,
Abstain.
Cullinan,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Moyle,
Aye.
and Curran.
Aye. C, discussion and possible action on issuing city credit card to fire chief. Moyle.
This is just to put something on record so we can issue a credit card to Chief Maltus. Currently, the way things have been operating, he's been purchasing things with his own money and then asking reimbursement. So this will simplify it. Does anyone have any recommendation on a credit limit? If we do, in your discussion, think of a credit limit as well instead of just yes or no.
Okay. Go around the room.
We have question. We have a standard limit for our departments, right?
I can't, I'm not 100% sure. I think it's like $5,000 for the
It's
departments.
5,000 for everybody except the city clerk's
Yeah.
credit card, which is, it's either 20 or 25,000 in case there happened to be a really large purchase that had to be made.
Right.
Okay. Rich?
While we're at it, can we change that over to her name instead of Becky's, almost a year later?
That's perfect.
I think we talked about all that, but we can talk about that in a second. Go ahead, Austin, if you have any.
Yeah, I don't care, 5,000 is fine if that works.
Okay.
Okay. I wasn't aware that he didn't have one already issued. Our ambulance director has one though, right?
Yes.
I don't
It's
know how
not
we,
very
Question
used
there.
very
Yeah,
often.
yeah.
I don't know how we skipped the fire chief on that. That seems like an oversight. So, yeah, that makes sense to me. And then, Rich, your question, follow-up, I know it's not related to this though, but I thought we looked into that and wasn't it something like,
It's,
it had to wait for it to expire? Is there a way that we can?
I think it has expired. I mean, we can do it, but,
We,
there's a reason we haven't done it, but we can do it if that's the desire of the council, so, I mean, it's not a big issue.
I want to say like the first 4 months in our administration, my card still said Mayor Ravar on it.
Yeah.
It's what it is. Granted, it's been long enough though,
Yeah,
but I don't know what the
I
standard
think
is.
the reason really isn't super substantial anyway, so yeah, we can change this, fine.
Okay, all right. Any other discussion on the fire chief getting a credit card? All right, get a motion or?
I'll make a motion
Yep.
to issue a city credit card to Chief
I'll s-
Maltus in the
I'll
fire
second that
department.
motion.
With a
with a $5,000 limit.
Thank you, Alex.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. Number 11, public comment on any topic.
I wasn't prepared for this. I tried to be respectful.
You're fine.
I don't understand why this didn't get resolved tonight for the zoning administrator. Greg, you had points, and I think they tried to resolve it.
hope they
Rich, you
did.
wouldn't comment, and Hillary, you wanted to go behind a closed door. That tells me that's not transparency.
I can talk to you privately one-on-one afterwards.
But my question is, I don't know what the next step is here, if you're going to bring it up at the next council meeting to discuss it again. However, I will recruit residents from this area, from Oglesby, and make sure that they fill this room and make this happen, because this is our city. This is taking care of the buildings and the yards and that, and you're gonna let that go? I mean, I pay taxes, and my neighbors, if they're gonna have a pile of tires in their yard, or a building comes in and they have fluorescent lights and hula dancers in the window, you gonna let that stuff go because we have no zoning? Doesn't make sense to me. And
Thank
I
you.
think, congratulations, you'll probably be on the news again as a comedy show. Rod Thorson will have all with this.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment on any topic? Seeing none, we will move on. Number 12, commissioner reports. Commissioner Cullinan.
Nothing tonight other than we've narrowed down vendors for the codification of our old ordinance books in the back, and we'll be looking to get those done and taken care of, so they don't have to sift through mounds and mounds of paper. But other than that, I don't think there's anything big, so that's it.
Commissioner Moyle.
I wanted to thank Cordelinos for hosting the golf outing that raised $9,715 to benefit the Oglesby Fire Department. And I'm also pleased to inform that the members of the Oglesby Firefighters Association purchased a light tower for the department. And they're gonna paint it red to match the trucks, which is curious because I was going through the bills today and we just recently rented a light tower from United Rentals. And the fire department is generously gonna allow other departments to use this as long as they agree to fill it back up with gas, so.
That's great news. Thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner McDermott.
The wastewater treatment plant is going good. Thank you for visiting. You guys are doing great work. Deconstruction is finishing up a few items on the Safe Route to Schools. When they do, Troy, Ross, and I will be walking the sidewalks. And if anybody has any issues, let me know, and I'll make sure that we talk to you directly. Also, we are replacing valves and hydrants on East Florence Street and North Spring Avenue, and replacing valve on East Florence Street and Field Avenue tomorrow, July 21st. Residents on East Florence Street from Field Avenue and North Spring Avenue from East Walnut to East Florence Street, including Highland Apartments, will have no water from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., and a boil order will follow for 24 hours. Residents were notified with door tags, code red, and it's on Facebook. Let's see. And that's all I have for right now.
Thank you, appreciate it. Commissioner Baldridge.
Yeah, the Parks and Rec Department would like to report, following the lead of most local cities, Oglesby's Park and Recreation is having another party in the park night on August 7th from 7 to 10 p.m. One of the very best local bands, 303, will be playing from 7 to 10 at the beautiful Lehigh Park stage on Friday, August 7th. Tony's Tacos will be the food vendor. Follow Oglesby's Park and Rec Facebook page to keep us up to date on this and many other offerings to benefit the great citizens of Oglesby. Junior League State Tournament has started at Gandolfi Field at the Dickinson Field Complex. Best of luck to the IVBL team. Major League State Tournament starts this weekend at Sunny Jim Bottomley Diamond with 5 games Saturday and 3 on Sunday. Special thanks to the guys keeping our fields in tip-top shape, known for being some of the best in the area. A thank you to Cordelinos for donating pizzas this past Friday to our fun and fitness campers. The kids enjoyed it very much and we appreciate the kind gesture. Also, the last day of the 2026 pool season is August 8th. Thank you to everyone for a great pool year. The electric department submitted We have been working on installing the underground conduits at Malik Road, new 34.5 kV feed for the city, and trimming trees out of the medium voltage lines, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Since we've been in here so long, does anybody know how the game went? Does anybody got anything on their phones? Did they win? Because I'm sure the game's probably over by now. Oh, it's raining
Rained
outside?
out.
Oh, man. Okay, all right. Number 13, executive session for the purpose of the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, discussion of minutes of meetings lawfully closed under the Opens Meeting Acts, collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or the representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for more than one classes of employees, and the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired pursuant to the authority granted by 5 ILCS 120/2C1, 15:6 and 6, 15:2 and 6 respectively. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
I will make a motion that we enter executive session per the aforementioned exemptions to the Open Meetings Act. Or enter executive session,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't have any reason. Does anybody?
Well, this is also the one, the
Oh, to
second
release.
one of July. To be honest, I don't think, I mean, it's a possible action after to release executive session minutes. However, I seriously doubt we'll have any to release because I think everyone probably touches on something that has not been resolved yet. But we're supposed to do it, we have to do it twice a year.
Well, I'll second that motion.
Oh, come on. You just said it doesn't make a difference. If
But I
nothing's
think,
gonna get released.
I don't, so I got a good, the
But
answer to
you
the
have to
question.
consider it
Do we
twice a
have,
year.
I think we have to review it.
we
You
have
have
to
to
review
review
it.
it twice a year.
Yep, okay.
We have to
Um,
review it. That's
Roll
the
call,
problem.
please.
Baldridge,
Aye.
Cullinan,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Moyle,
Aye.
and Curran.
Aye. The only possible action after executive session would be if we were releasing executive session minutes, but as of right now, I don't think that will probably happen. So other than that, everybody have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Jason?
I'm gonna go get my slide before we go into executive. Hi, what's up? I called them, it didn't go, it was not there, but I've sent them in now again, because I don't know what happened the first time. But yeah, so it should be working, I mean, it'll take a little bit for them to upload it, but I don't know what happened the first time and why it's not. Yeah. Yep, so you're all taken care of there, so. Oh, I know, yeah, I'm sure.
I was gonna address some things, but I don't wanna. I've never called you out. This is where I'm so unfair, is the fact that, okay, you said the planning board, so this board, and Betsy's on all these other boards, I feel like there's so much hate, and don't doubt that you're capable. You are incredibly capable. Are you still working for you? There's so much to take, and that was my intention. Nothing to do with your capabilities or your intelligence or anything. I feel like it was for
fighting publicly, so there's no need.
Now we're friends.
I don't know if I go that far.
Thanks,
We are coworkers that I'd be happy to help you with whatever you need. I'll say it like that.
The chairs are nice.
You're all falling apart.
Really? Should have done what Stefanelli wanted to do.
No, I came in, it was all over the
Chair
place.
with their name on it, and that woman they left.
Oh, you have to keep the chair?
Yeah, he wanted to do that, but I'm like,
That's interesting.
Gave me the junk.
I don't know. I don't know why I want to keep a chair with their name on it, but more importantly,
I
we've
think-
had more than half the council leave, you'd have to replace all the chairs.
I think when I'm done, I don't want any memories of, serving on the city council, so,
Okay, everybody's seated, okay. We're back in open session, roll call, please.
Baldrige. Here. Cullinan.
here.
McDermott.
Here.
Moyle.
Here.
And Kern.
Here, A, discussion and possible action on releasing executive session minutes. I don't believe we are having anything, but do you make a motion, please?
Okay, I will make a motion that we keep closed the minutes from the April 1st, 2024 meeting, the May 4th, 2024 meeting, the September 16th, 2024 meeting, July 5th, 2023 meeting, the January 21st, 2025 meeting, the April 21st, 2025 meeting, the May 5th, 2025 meeting, the May 19th, 2025 meeting, the June 2nd, 2025 meeting, the June 23rd, 2025 meeting, the July 7th, 2025 meeting, the July 21st, 2025 meeting, the August 4th, 2025 meeting, the October 6th, 2025 meeting, the October 20th, 2025, October 20th, 2025 meeting, the November 17th, 2025 meeting, the December 1st, 2025 meeting, the December 15th, 2025 meeting, the January 5th, 2026 meeting, the February 2nd, 2026 meeting, the February 17th, 2026 meeting, the March 17th, 2026 meeting, the April 6th, 2026 meeting, and the June 1st, 2026 meeting.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Baldrige.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
And Kern.
Aye. Number
Didn't you-
14, adjournment. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Baldrige.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
And Kern.
Aye.
Didn't
We
you
are adjourned.
at
Jason.
one point say that you guys had 4 closed session meetings you thought in your last? Didn't you say that you thought you guys had 4 combined? Because there's something about going downstairs. You said, I think we went down here.
No, no,
Combined
that
4.
was when she broke her leg. Remember she broke her leg?
We can do it in front of him.
Uh,
In front of his
Carrie,
chair, that way.
Carrie broke a leg or something like that, and so we couldn't do executive session down there, we had to do several meetings back there. And then there was a lot of yelling, and you could hear it pretty easily back there. I think there was like 4 of those, is what I was talking about. Hey, look, it finally, updated, I got a hello going.
Yeah, that one, they're gonna be about 2 or 3 weeks out, and we'll schedule that one, so we'll need that.
Take care of business, Rob.
Yeah. We actually done with the pack, and mostly moved in, we slept there last night, first night. One quick story, so we closed at 4 o'clock on Wednesday. Thursday morning at 6 AM, I get a text from Tom. Hey, the neighbors let us know somebody took out a mailbox this morning. The truck was still, so I race up there, like, the police are there, the truck's there, and the brick mailbox is blasted 30 feet across there.
Like, you just keep moving your finger around.
You can't make it up. You can't make it up. So, luckily the lady stuck around, I don't know if she did it because it was the right thing to do, or if she was immobile. But her insurance is totally covered. But what next?
Oh, my God, Ross.
I think I'll see you Friday.
All the numbers are balanced for Friday, I think.
Yes, that's what I heard.
From the buyers, too. So-
Yep, 3 o'clock.
Because they have free disclosure, yeah, we're all set.
Very good. We'll see you then. Right.
All right. Should buy a house. Let's-
I bought a house and now I'm trying to sell a house.
Problem for another day.
And then, Jason, if you wanna get in on this
What
one.
you need?
This is the lead service line inventory, engineering services agreement that would allow you to apply for the IEK loan program. So, this